Welcome to the channel if you've never been here before. This is Movie Readings, where I take entire Hollywood scripts and read them from start to finish. Sometimes these take hours to make, so it would really help me out if you could subscribe below and comment with which movies you would like to see in the near future. Of course, you can like or dislike, depending on how you feel about my choice for this video.
Let's get to the picture. Joker, 2019. This story takes place in its own universe. It has no connection to any of the DC films that have come before it. We see it as a classic Warner Bros. Movie. Gritty, intimate, and oddly funny. The characters live in the real world, and the stakes are personal. Although it is never mentioned in the film, this story takes place in the past. Let's call it 1981. It's a troubled time. The crime rate in Gotham is at record highs. A garbage strike has crippled the city for the past 6 weeks. The divide between the haves and the have-nots is palpable. Dreams are beyond rich, slipping into delusions. We hear laughter, the sound of a man totally cracking up. We are close on Joker, 30s, tears in his eyes from laughing so hard. He's trying to get it under control. His greasy black hair is matted down. He's wearing an old, faded, red, hooded zip-up sweatshirt, a threadbare gray scarf. Thin from years of use, it hangs loosely around his neck. We notice 2 faded old scars, cut at the corners of his mouth, almost forming a smile. He's sitting across from an overworked social worker, 50s, African American. Her office is cramped and run down, in a cramped and run-down building. Stacks of folders piled high in front of her. She just sits behind her desk, waiting for his laughing fit to end. She's been through this before. Finally, it subsides. Joker takes a deep breath. He pauses to see if it's over. A beat. Is it just me, or is it getting crazier out there? Despite the laughter, there's a real pain in his eyes. Something is broken in him. Looks like he hasn't slept in days. It's certainly tense. People are upset. They're struggling, looking for work. The garbage strike seems like it's been going on forever. These are tough times. How about you? How's the job? Still enjoying it? Yeah, it's different each day, so I really like that. I don't think I could ever work in an office, behind a desk. No offense. She smiles, writes something down. She looks at the clock. She's running late for her next appointment. Have you been keeping up with your journal? Every day. Great, did you bring it with you? He dodges the subject. I'm sorry, did I bring what? Impatient. She doesn't have time for this. Arthur, last time I asked you to bring your journal with you for these appointments. Do you have it? Yes, ma'am. Can I see it? He reluctantly reaches into his bag. He pulls out a weathered notebook and slides it across to her. I've been using it as a journal, but also a joke diary. Funny thoughts or observations. Did I tell you I'm pursuing a career in stand-up comedy? She's half listening as she flips through his journal. No, you didn't. I think I did. She doesn't respond, keeps flipping through his journal. Oh yeah, because of what your mother said about your purpose, to bring laughter and joy to the world, right? Right. We angle on the journal. Pages and pages of notes, all in neat, angry-looking handwriting. Also, cut-out photos from hardcore pornographic magazines, and some crude handmade drawings. A flash of anger crosses Joker's face. We see him picking at his right eyebrow, almost obsessively, trying to stay calm. His eyebrow is actually half gone, something he does a lot. I didn't realize you wanted to read it. The social worker gives him a look, then reads something in the pages that gives her pause. She reads out loud. I just hope my death makes more sense than my life? She looks up at Joker. He just stares back, lets it hang out there for a beat. Then he laughs a little, even though he doesn't think it's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's just... Does my reading it upset you? He leans in. No, some of it's personal, you know? I understand. I just want to make sure you're keeping up with it. She slides his journal back to him. He holds it in his lap. What about your mom? How's she feeling? She has good days, but mostly bad. It's been a big help having me there. She really needs me. Seems like she's been sick a lot since you got home. Yeah, it's good I'm there. When I was in the hospital, after my last episode, she was having trouble getting over there to visit. She looks back up at the clock. She needs to get to her next appointment. All right, so I'll see you again 2 weeks from today. He nods, but keeps sitting there for a moment. She stands up, trying to signal it's time for him to leave. Is there something else I can help you with, Arthur? My next appointment is waiting. He just keeps sitting there. Yeah, I was wondering if you could ask the doctor to increase the dosage on my medication. Nothing seems to make a difference. Looking over at his record. Do you know which ones you'd like increased? He shakes his head. No. Have you been sleeping? Lying. Some. She glances at his file again. Arthur, you're on 7 different medications. Surely they must be doing something. He finally stands up. He zips up his faded red sweatshirt and looks at her. I just don't want to feel so bad anymore. Gotham Square is clogged with traffic. Non-stop honking horns, pedestrians crowding the sidewalk, huge billboards, giant movie marquees, garbage bags piled high everywhere. Underneath it all, we hear a tinkling piano playing something bouncy and fast-paced. From across the busy city street, we see Joker. He's dressed as a sad-faced hobo clown. This is his job. Dressed in tattered clothes, dark 5 o'clock shadow painted on his face, big bulbous red nose. His mouth is outlined in white, turned down at the corners. He's holding up a sign in front of Kenny's music shop that reads, Everything Must Go. A banner above the store reads, Going Out of Business. Behind him, an old man plays a piano on the street. Both of them there to draw attention to the big sale going on in the store. Joker is doing a little Charlie Chaplin-like waddle to the music. Most people walk right past, ignoring him. A few bump into him by mistake. Joker sees a group of 5 boys, no more than 15 years old, walking towards him. He moves out of their way. They crack up laughing when they see him, and start making fun of him. Joker ignores them. He tries to do his job the best he can while maintaining some dignity. He keeps dancing and holding up the sign. One of the kids knocks the sign out of Joker's hands. Suck my dick, clown! The kids laugh. Joker doesn't say anything. He just bends over to pick up the sign. Another kid kicks him in the ass. Whoops! Joker falls face first onto the sidewalk. Oddly, the old man playing the piano picks up the pace of the music. The kids crack up. One of the boys grabs Joker's sign and takes off running across the street. The other kids follow, weaving through traffic. Joker gets up and gives chase. He needs his sign back. He almost gets hit by a taxi, spinning out of the way just in time, spinning right into another taxi that stops just short of hitting him. Joker keeps running through traffic. People stare. A clown barreling down the street has got to be a joke. The 5 boys are booking it down the crowded street, laughing and whooping it up. At the last second, they take a sharp right down a cross street. Joker almost overshoots the corner, slip-sliding in his big red shoes. He rights himself and heads down after them. He sees them running up ahead, and whop! Out of nowhere, Joker gets hit in the face. He falls to the ground. One of the kids was hiding behind parked cars and hit Joker with the "everything must go" sign, splintering it in two. The other kids turn back and walk up to Joker down on the ground. Joker reaches out, still trying to save the sign. The kids start kicking and beating the shit out of Joker. It's brutal and vicious. Nobody on the street stops to help. Close on Joker's hobo clown face down on the ground, sweat running down his face, smearing his makeup. He doesn't even look like he's in pain. He just takes the beating. That stupid frown painted on his face. Joker makes his way towards the back of a crowded bus, now walking with a slight limp, but keeping his head held high. His makeup is washed off, costume and props all shoved into a big shopping bag, slung over his shoulder. Some white grease paint still smudged on the side of his face. He finds an empty seat on the back of the bus. He sees a sad-eyed 4-year-old girl, face puffy from crying, sitting on her knees looking back at him. Her mother's facing forward. Even from behind, you can tell she is angry. Joker sees the sad-eyed girl staring right back at him. He doesn't know where to look, feeling self-conscious and small. He gets back into character, smiling like a clown. He covers his face with his hands and starts playing a game of peekaboo with her. The girl stares back at him for a moment and then giggles. The mom turns back to Joker, already annoyed. "Can you please stop bothering my kid?" "I wasn't bothering her, I was..." "Just stop." And suddenly Joker starts to laugh, loud. He covers his mouth and tries to hide it. He shakes his head, laughter pausing for a moment. Then it comes on stronger. His eyes are sad. It actually looks like the laughter causes him pain. People on the bus are staring. The girl looks like she's going to cry again. "You think that's funny?" Joker shakes his head no, but he can't stop laughing. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small card and hands it to the woman. It reads, "Forgive my laughter. I have a condition." She turns the card over and there's a bunch of information in small writing. It's a medical condition causing sudden, frequent, uncontrollable laughter that doesn't match how you feel. It can happen to people with a brain injury or certain neurological conditions. She doesn't read it, but if you freeze frame the movie, you could. She just shakes her head annoyed and throws the card on the ground. Joker laughs harder, tears running down his face. Not wanting to attract any more attention to himself, he pulls up his red hood and uses his threadbare scarf to cover his mouth, trying to muffle the laughter. He looks out at the city passing by him. The bus pulls away, the sun is almost gone. Joker heads slowly down the litter-covered streets. Garbage is piled along the sidewalks, the air thick with smog, creating a haze over everything. The streets are crowded with the poor, the elderly, and the disenfranchised. Women with children in busted strollers. Homeless people sleeping on subway grates. Stray dogs. His is one of the few white faces. Joker makes his way into a run-down drugstore behind him. 2 drunks fighting on the corner, beating the shit out of each other. Joker, and no one else for that matter, pays them any attention. No one here gives a shit. A shabby lobby in a building that was once probably pretty nice, but now it's a dump. Joker checks his mailbox. He's holding a small white prescription bag in his hand. The mailbox is empty. Joker steps into the wheezing elevator. Harsh fluorescent lights, graffiti on the walls. As the door closes, he hears, "Wait!" He puts his foot out with some panache to stop the closing door. He's a romantic at heart. Ding! Sophie Dumond, late 20s, tired eyes, hands filled with grocery bags, steps onto the elevator with Gigi, her 5-year-old daughter. "Thank you." Oh, of course it's you. Everyone else in this building is so fucking rude. Joker nods and thanks. He holds his breath, hoping he doesn't start to laugh. The floors ding as the elevator rises. Joker sees Gigi licking the dirty, smudged elevator handrail behind her mom. How's your mom doing? He takes a deep breath. He's uncomfortable talking to her. He holds up the white prescription bag. It's day to day. I'm doing everything I can to get her back on her feet. Picking up her medicine. Gotta make her some dinner. Sophie smiles, being polite. She's lucky she has you. Joker smiles thanks, but can't help but glance at Gigi, licking the rail. Sophie finally notices. She wants to grab her, but can't with her hands full. Tries to kick her away. Jesus, don't do that, Gigi. How many times have I told you that? To Joker. This building is so awful, isn't it? Joker just nods. He doesn't know what to say, but clearly wants to continue this conversation with Sophie. The doors open. They all step off. Okay, well, tell your mom I say hello. Sophie and Gigi walk down the hall, the opposite way of Joker. He just stands there for a beat, heart beating fast. He calls out after her. Hey, Sophie? She turns around. I'll tell my mom you said hello. She smiles, as in, yeah, that's what I said. It's an old apartment, worn carpet. Nothing is new inside, but it's fairly neat and well kept. Joker closes the door behind him. He leans his back against it and swoons. He hears a deep purring sound. He looks down and sees an old orange cat rubbing up against his leg. Then, shattering the moment, his mom calls out, Happy, did you check the mail before you came up? Yes, Ma, nothing. No letter. You sure you looked? Sometimes I don't know where your head is. Joker glances back down and sees the cat is gone. Yes, I'm sure, and my head is right here. I'm gonna make you some dinner, okay? Joker tears open the prescription bag. A flurry of pill bottles tumble out on the counter. He sees his name, Arthur Fleck, on the orange pill bottles. We glimpse the generic drug names. Temazepam, perfenazine, ahelenazine, amitriptyline, benzodrine, diazepam, memprobamate. He takes one pill each from the temazepam and meprobamate bottles, 2 pills being crushed up into powder. He sprinkles the powder on top of a TV dinner. He swallows a handful of pills from the other bottles. He looks down and smiles at the orange cat looking up at him from the counter. Joker brings the food to his mother, Penny, 70s, lying in her bed. The TV is on, playing the local news. Joker sets the food down in front of his mother. He covers the pain from his beating the best he can. His mother doesn't seem to notice anyway. He must not be getting my letters. Joker sits down on a chair next to the bed. He's a busy man. Too busy for me? I worked for that family for 12 years. He always had a smile for me. The least he could do is write back. Ma, eat. You need to eat. You need to eat. Look how skinny you are. Before Joker can say anything, his mother points to the news on the TV. All day long, it's more bad news. That's all there is. Maybe you shouldn't watch so much television. He's the only hope for Gotham. He'll make a great mayor. Everybody says so. Everybody who? Who do you talk to? Well, everybody on the news. Stop it. He's not even going to run. Why would Thomas Wayne want to be mayor? He can do more good as a businessman. Because he cares about this city and everyone in it. That's why I can't believe he hasn't written me back. He will. Now eat some dinner. He feeds her a bite of food. How are you feeling today? I don't know. It always hits me worse at night. Did you notice that? He shakes his head. Maybe it's the moon. Maybe you're a werewolf. He howls softly like a wolf. She laughs. It's not funny. Joker watches her as she cuts up more of her food. Anyway, I wrote a new letter today. A better one. I want you to hand-deliver it to him. What? Why? Because maybe the mailman is throwing them away. We should have tipped him at Christmas time. Who tips their mailman? Some people do. Rich people do. Joker sighs, resigned. Okay, I can try his office tomorrow. Thank you. She pats the bed. Come, sit, it's almost on. Joker gets into bed with her. Close on the television, intro to Live with Murray Franklin. We hear the announcer over clips of comedy bits, stars, and Murray Franklin himself. It's Live with Murray Franklin. Tonight Murray welcomes Sandra Winger, comedian Skip Byron, and the piano stylings of Yeldon and Chantel. As always, Don Ellis and his jazz orchestra. Now, without any further ado, Murray Franklin. Joker and his mom watch from bed. This is a ritual of theirs. Late night. Joker's mom is dead asleep. Joker is alone in the living room, which doubles as his bedroom. He can't ever sleep. He opens his worn notebook and flips to a page titled Jokes and starts writing. Close on the words as he slowly writes. The worst part about having a mental illness. We angle on Joker, pausing and thinking it over for a moment. Then he laughs to himself when he comes up with something. Coming faster now. That people expect you to behave as if you don't. Joker is looking up at the intimidating steel and glass Wayne Tower. He looks so small, holding his mom's letter in his hand. The bustle of professionals coming in and out of the company's corporate headquarters. Joker looks out of place. He heads inside the giant glass doors. Joker steps off an elevator and walks up to the white marble reception desk, as if he belongs there. Hello? I have a personal letter from Mr. Thomas Wayne. Okay, you can leave it with me. It's kind of important. I need to make sure he gets it himself. Oh, in that case, I'll buzz you right in. Joker goes to enter. I'm kidding. Leave it here. He laughs along with her, even though she's not laughing. Oh, right. Well, my mom used to work for the Wayne family for 12 years. She was their housekeeper. A couple other business people are now waiting behind Joker, there for meetings. That's great, but you can leave it here with me, or you can leave with the letter. Those are your options. Now please step aside. Mr. Wayne knows her. Can you maybe at least call back to him? Tell him that I'm here? Thomas Wayne is away on business. Joker is getting frustrated. Okay, well, can I have your name? So I know who I left it with? Now Joker sees a group of men walking behind the glass that separates the reception area from the back offices. Amongst the group, he catches a glimpse of Thomas Wayne. 60s, deep tan. Hair dyed so black it's almost blue. Wait, he's right there! He goes up to the glass. Mr. Wayne! Mr. Wayne! He starts banging on the glass, but the group keeps moving, not noticing him. Sir, please, stop, sir. Joker keeps banging on the glass. The glass doors swing open, and Joker is forcibly thrown onto the street. 2 large security guards stand over him. He is still holding the letter. He makes as if he's going to leave peacefully. Then, at the last minute, takes another run at the door. The 2 guards stiff-arm him. The cramped locker room of a small talent booking agency. This is where Joker works. They rent out talent for parties and events. Clowns, magicians, male strippers. Joker takes off his shirt, grimaces in pain as he moves. His body is bruised from the beating he took chasing after his sign. Are you okay? He turns. Randall, mid-50s. A big bear of a know-it-all, standing there. He's a party clown as well. He's half dressed in his clown suit. I heard about the beatdown you took. Fucking savages. It was just a bunch of kids. I should have left that alone. Randall opens his locker. It's crazy out there, and it's only getting worse. He nods. My mother says that the people nowadays lack empathy. What's empathy? It means like feeling for other people. Oh, like sympathy. Kind of, but different. Randall comes over, hands Joker a brown paper bag. Joker looks inside. It's a gun. .38 snub-nose revolver. Joker looks up at him, confused. Take it. I got a few. You gotta protect yourself out there, buddy. Too many wackos. As Joker stares at it, Randall lowers his voice. It's a .38 snub-nose. Gets the job done if you ever need to use it. Usually pulling it out is enough. I don't have money for this, Randall. Don't sweat it. You can pay me some other time. You're my boy. That lands with Joker. He smiles to himself as he walks away. But you didn't get it from me, okay? Joker nods. He puts the brown paper bag in his locker. Slowly he starts to get dressed, his eyes darting toward the bag as he does. Another clown, Gary, in his 30s, a dwarf, pops his head into the locker room. Arthur, Hoyt wants to see you in his office. What for? No clue. Joker, still half dressed, walks into the cramped office. His boss, Hoyt Vaughn, 60s, sits behind a metal desk. The office is a complete mess. Newspapers and files litter the desk. A giant ashtray filled with cigarette butts. A calendar of bookings hangs on the wall. A scribbled, jumbled mess. Hey, Hoyt. Gary said you wanted to see me? Without even looking up. How's the comedy career? Are you a famous stand-up yet? Not quite. Haven't even performed yet. Just been working on my material. This business is all about fine-tuning. Now Hoyt looks up, takes a drag from his cigarette. Right. Joker goes to sit down. Don't sit, this'll be quick. Joker stops in his tracks. Look, I like you, Arthur. A lot of guys here, they think you're a freak, but I like you. I don't even know why I like you. I mean, you don't say much. It's probably that stupid laugh. Gets me every time. Kills me. Unsure how to respond, Joker just nods. But I got another complaint, and it's starting to piss me off. Joker takes a deep breath. Maybe picks at his eyebrow. Kenny's music, Sunday. The guy said you disappeared. Never even returned his sign. No, I got jumped. I told you about that. For a sign? Bullshit, it makes no sense. Just give him his sign back. He's going out of business, for God's sake. Bang! Out of nowhere, Joker slams his head into the wall, headbutting it hard. Hoyt is taken aback. Hey! Bang, bang! He does it 2 more times, breaking the plaster on the wall. What the fuck, Arthur? His voice tightens. I don't have his sign. Joker just stares at Hoyt, some blood forming on his forehead. We're at the far end of an alley, about halfway down, catching a glimpse of Joker, still half dressed on the other side of a dumpster. From his vantage, all we can see is him furiously kicking and stomping on something, or somebody. We don't hear anything. We can't make out what is it he's so violently beating down. It could be a cat, a cardboard box, a homeless person. We don't know. Joker just continues unleashing his rage. Joker at the end of his workday, sitting in his spot toward the back of the bus. Across the aisle from him, he's innocently watching a young couple, playfully teasing each other. Joker heading back home, down the litter-covered streets like he does every night. Garbage still piled along the sidewalks. air still thick with smog. He's carrying the paper bag that Randall gave him. Joker checks his mailbox. Empty. Joker is on the elevator. As the door closes, he sticks his foot out to stop it. The door limps back open. Ding! He looks to see if Sophie is coming. He waits, hoping. The door starts to close on him again. Right before it does, he stops it with his foot again. Ding! Joker is giving his mom a bath, being careful with her as he shampoos her hair. So, what did he say when you gave him the letter? They wouldn't let me see him. Lying. But they promised me it would get to him. It's good they promised. He only works with the best. We should hear something soon. He fills an empty plastic container with some bath water. Look up. She tilts her head back and he rinses her hair with the water from the container. Why are these letters so important to you, Ma? What do you think he's gonna do? He's gonna help us. Help us how? Get us out of here. Take me away from this place and these awful people. You worked for him over 30 years ago. What makes you think he would help you? She looks at him with conviction. Because Thomas Wayne is a good man. If he knew how I was living, if he saw this place, it would make him sick. I can't explain it to you any better than that. Joker nods, annoyed, but not worth the argument. He stands up to get her a towel. I don't want you to worry about money. Everyone's been telling me they think my stand-up is ready for the big clubs. It's just a matter of time before I get a break. She steps into a towel. He's helping her dry off. Happy, what makes you think you could do that? What do you mean? I mean, don't you have to be funny to be a comedian? Joker's mom is out cold in her bedroom. A half-eaten plate of food is next to her on the bed. Joker sits on the couch. The TV is on, but the sound is off. He holds the .38 snub-nosed revolver Randall gave him in his hand. He's never held a gun before. He looks uncomfortable with it, the weight of it in his hand. He points it at the TV, hand trembling a bit, points it at the cat, and points it at his head. He looks closely at the grip, the barrel, the cylinder. Now he casually pulls the trigger. Blam! He jumps off the couch. What the fuck? He looks around in panic, his hands shaking. He shot a hole in the wall. His mom, awoken by the shot. Happy, what was that? What? He quickly turns up the TV volume really loud. He shoves the still smoking gun under the couch cushions. That noise! Did you hear that noise? He's inspecting the hole in the wall. He shouts back over the TV noise. I'm watching an old war movie. Turn it down. He heads for his mother's bedroom. Joker looks in on his mom in her dark bedroom. He can make out the outline of her body sitting up. It's so loud. I know, the Americans are really giving it to the Japs. He walks over to her in the darkness and kisses her on the forehead. I'm sorry, I'll turn it down. Joker is writing in his journal. He speaks softly to himself as he writes. Why didn't Randall tell me the gun was loaded? He's my friend. With my luck, I could have killed someone. I could have killed myself. Close on that last line. He crossed out could and writes should. Joker, still to himself. I should have killed myself. We close on Joker as he crosses out something again. Joker, louder to himself. I should kill myself. A beat. We see the rundown building where Joker lives from across the street. We reveal Joker is watching his own building on the far side of a parked truck. Red hood pulled up, covering his head. He waits and watches. We see Sophie exit the building with her daughter Gigi. Sophie is dressed more conservatively than we previously met her. Joker starts following them. Sophie drops Gigi off at school. Joker is still watching, following. Sophie waits on the platform, lights a cigarette. We see Joker, hidden behind a steel support beam, watching her from a distance. Joker stands at the window between two subway cars, just watching Sophie as she reads a book in the next car. The train comes to a stop and she exits. Joker exits as well. The nicer part of Gotham. Joker follows Sophie from a distance. He watches as she walks into Gotham First National Bank. He sees her say hello to the guard. This is where she works. Joker just watches and waits. A large mid-level bank. Sophie is one of the 3 bank tellers working behind the plexiglass windows. Joker pulls the hood back off his head, takes a deep breath before she walks up to her window. She is looking down, counting her drawer. She takes another deep breath, and then, "Hello? I'd like to open an account." She looks up. "Hey, what are you doing up here?" "Oh, hi. That's weird." Pausing to see if he's going to laugh. He's good. "I didn't know you worked at a bank." "Pretty glamorous, right?" Not getting the sarcasm, Joker nods and looks around. "Very glamorous. Look at this place." She laughs. He stands there awkwardly for a moment, looking around to see what she's laughing about. He realizes she thought he was making a joke. "I'm a comedian. I do stand-up comedy." "Really? I had no idea." "Yeah, I'm always making funny observations. I'm always on the lookout for my next bit, so it makes sense." "Right. Anyway, so, is there something I can help you with?" "I said hi to my mom." "Excuse me? Last week, you said say hi to my mom." "I did. It made her day." They are interrupted by the branch manager, 50s, white, heavy set, who has come up behind Sophie. "Everything okay here?" He puts his heavy hand on Sophie's shoulder. She practically shudders from his touch. "Everything is fine, Mr. Slotnick." Now he leans down and whispers something in her ear. Joker just watches through the glass. She shakes her head to her manager. "No, he's not. He's interested in opening an account." To Joker. "Great. You just need to fill out a form. They are back there, against the wall." As the manager talks, Sophie makes wide eyes at Joker, like, "I almost got in trouble." Joker is covering, trying to act cool. "Okay, thank you, sir. And thank you as well, miss." Joker walks back to the wall by the forms. He fumbles around for a minute, clearly not there to open an account. He begins filling out a form and then shouts to no one in particular. "You know what? I forgot my ID. I'll be back, thanks." He walks out of the bank, head in the clouds. Joker, sitting in the middle of a dark, crowded comedy club. People on dates, groups of friends, all here to watch the stand-up. He sits at a small table by himself, watching the act on stage. The comic on stage is killing it. The whole room is laughing and applauding. Everyone except Joker. He's just watching, studying, diligently jotting down notes in his notebook. People are piling out of the club onto a narrow street. A jumble of lit-up signs, mostly glowing red or yellow. Joker walks out alone, carrying his notebook. He sees a flyer taped to the entrance of the club. Open mic night, Thursdays, 10 p.m. He rips the flyer off the wall. Joker is working on his Mr. Jingles clown look, using a small mirror in his locker. Behind him, a couple of other clowns are eating their lunch at a small table, not paying Joker any attention. Joker pauses, half finished, and stares at himself for a beat. He starts to examine the small 2 scars on the corners of his mouth. He really notices how they form a smile. Joker hooks the corner of his mouth down with his index finger, turning his smile into a frown. He lets go, and his smile returns. He does it again, up and down, up and down. His face. A living comedy-tragedy mask. Then, he pulls his fingers wider, stretching his smile into a grotesque parody, pulling his mouth so wide, tears come to his eyes. We hear Joker singing, "If You're Happy and You Know It," at his next gig. If you're happy and you know it, if you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Joker is performing for a ward full of sick children, wearing an oversized white lab coat over his Mr. Jingles clown costume. A few nurses and doctors watch as well. His white clown face, mouth outlined in black, filled in with red, his green wig frizzy and worn out. Joker plays a ukulele along with the song. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. Joker and the kids stomp and sing along. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. As the song winds down, the kids and nurses clap. The Joker takes an exaggerated and ridiculous bow. As he does, his .38 snub-nosed revolver slips out of his pants and slides across the floor. Everyone stops and looks at the gun on the floor. Joker is at a payphone in the lobby of the hospital. He's in his street clothes, wig in his hand, clown face still painted on. "Hoyt, let me explain," into the phone. "Okay, this'll be good. Please tell me why you brought a gun into a sick kid's ward." It was a prop gun. It's part of my act now." "Bullshit. Jingles would never carry a fucking gun. Besides, Randall told me you tried to buy a .38 off him last week." Joker is taken aback that Randall would do that to him. "Randall told you that?" "He was with me when the call came in." "You're a fuck-up, Arthur, and a liar. You're fired." "Hoyt!" "Say it, Arthur." "Let me hear you say it." "Say what?" "I'm a fuck-up, and I'm fired." Joker picks at his eyebrow. "I'm a fuck-up, and I'm fired." "Louder." "I'm a fuck-up, and I'm fired." "Yes, you are." Click. He hears Hoyt hang up. Joker, face still painted, his bag on the seat next to him, along with his wig. There's only one other person on the subway car, a young woman, 30, sitting at the far end, reading a book. The train comes to a stop. 3 Wall Street guys enter. They are being loud and obnoxious, clearly drunk. One of them is eating French fries out of a greasy McDonald's bag. He flops down on the bench across from the girl and checks her out. The other 2 guys start getting into it with each other. "I'm telling you, she wanted my number. We should have just stayed." The train starts moving. "You're dreaming, man. She wasn't interested at all." "Are you nuts? Did you see how close we were dancing? She was in love, bro." He starts dancing a bit with himself, mimicking what he remembers. Wall Street number 2 takes a swig from the brown bag he's carrying. "She couldn't wait to get away from you." Joker is watching them closely, impressed by their confidence and easygoing camaraderie. "Ryan, am I crazy? Tell him what you saw." But the 3rd Wall Street guy isn't paying his friends any attention. He has his eyes set on the young woman sitting across from him reading a book. "Hey, you want some French fries?" He holds out his McDonald's bag and shakes it to get her attention. The other 2 share a look. Joker watches from his seat. "Hello, I'm talking to you." You want some fries? She looks up and shakes her head, a polite smile. No, thank you. The other two guys crack up at his apparent blow-off. The third Wall Street guy shakes his head, embarrassed, and starts softly flinging fries at the young woman. You sure? They're really good. She just buries her face deeper in her book. Don't ignore him, he's being nice to you. One of the French fries lands in her hair. She looks down towards Joker, looking to see if he's going to do something or say something. Joker just sits there nervous, not sure what to do, or even if he wants to do anything. And he bursts out laughing. He covers his mouth with his hand as they continue to harass the woman. They all look over. What the fuck is this clown laughing at? Something funny, asshole? With their attention diverted, the young woman rushes out through the door between subway cars, glancing back at Joker before she goes. Bitch! Joker laughs even harder through his hand. The Wall Street guys turn to him sitting by himself at the end of the car. Joker sees them staring. He looks down at the ground, hand still covering his mouth, face turning red. The subway is swaying, lights flickering on and off. One of the guys heads down the car towards Joker. He starts singing Send in the Clowns as he approaches. Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, and you in midair. Send in the clowns. The others crack up and follow after him. The guy plops down next to Joker, puts his arm around his shoulder as he sings. Joker shakes his head, stifling the laughter. Please, don't. He continues singing to him. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? One who keeps tearing around, one who can't move. Joker starts to get up. The lead guy pulls him back down. Where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. As he finishes the song, Joker's laughing fit is coming to an end. One of the other guys sits down on the other side of him. He is now sandwiched in between them. So tell us, buddy, what's so fucking funny? Nothing. I have a condition. Joker reaches into his bag to get one of his Forgive My Laughter cards. The third guy sees him reaching and tries to grab the bag from him. Joker pulls on it. No, it's just my stuff. I don't have anything. The guy rips the bag from his hand. I'll tell you what you have, asshole. Joker gets up from between them to go grab his bag back. The two guys are cracking up. You want it back? Here! Joker reaches out to grab the bag. The guy tosses it over his head to one of his friends, keeping it away from Joker. Three guys in suits, tossing a bag around, playing monkey in the middle with a clown. The lights on the train seem to glow brighter. We hear the drum roll opening to Bobby Short, singing Send in the Clowns, live at the Café Carlyle. Joker keeps trying to catch his bag until suddenly, whap! Out of nowhere, one of the guys punches him hard in the face. Joker goes down as if in slow motion, blood coming from his nose. He tries to get up, but his feet slip out from under him, and he falls back down. Stay down, you freak. The third Wall Street guy starts kicking him. The others join in, surrounding Joker on the ground, kicking him deliberately, sadistically, and the music swells. Blam! Suddenly the lights go back dim, and one of the guys stops kicking and falls back dead, blood splattering on the subway wall behind him. We hear Bobby Short sing out, picking up from where the Wall Street guy left off. Just when I'd stopped opening doors, finally knowing the one that I wanted was yours. Blam! Wall Street number 2 goes down, revealing Joker on the ground, opening his eyes to see what he did, smoking gun in his hand. Making my entrance again, with my usual flair. Sure of my lines, no one is there. The third guy takes off running for the doors that separate the cars. Joker stares after him, but then stops and turns back to grab his bag and his wig, his hands shaking from the adrenaline. The train is coming to a stop. Don't you love farce? My fault, I fear. Joker picks up his bag between the 2 dead bodies, blood everywhere. The subway doors wheeze open, and Joker steps halfway off the train, waiting to see if the third Wall Street guy gets off in the car ahead of him. Joker sees him run off. The platform is empty. The Wall Street guy is running toward the stairs. Joker follows. Behind them, the train pulls away. I thought you'd want what I want. Sorry, my dear. The guy makes his way to the stairs, unaware that Joker is behind him. Blam! The third guy falls, tumbling down the stairs. Joker walks over to the body and empties the chamber. But where are the clowns? Quick, send in the clowns. Don't bother, they're here. And as Send in the Clowns ends, Joker fires the last shot. Blam. He's got nothing left. Joker hauls ass out of the subway and makes a mad dash across a busy street, horns honking. Running as fast as he can past piles of garbage, he takes a sharp turn, hightailing into a small run-down needle park, disappearing into the darkness. Joker runs into the bathroom, locks the door behind him, and suddenly everything hits him all at once. He throws up into the dirty toilet, puking his guts out. He finishes wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. He pulls the gun out of his waist, looking around for some place to throw it out. Under the sink he sees a rusted metal grate, hanging off the wall, covering some pipes. Before he bends down, Joker catches his reflection in the smudged mirror. He sees himself holding the gun in his hand. Beat. He raises the gun to his head and pulls the trigger. Click. It's empty. He gets down on his knees, sweat dripping off his face. He pulls the grate away from the wall. He tosses the gun away inside. He moves the grate back in place. Joker stands back up and turns on the faucets. He rinses out his mouth. He looks at the smudged reflection as he starts washing the clown makeup off his sweaty face. Hi. Do you like to laugh? Water dripping, white grease paint running off his face. Remember how I told you I'm a stand-up comedian? Hi, how are you? A beat. Joker enters his building with great urgency. No time for the elevator. He takes the stairs, 2 at a time. He races up the stairwell. When he gets to his floor, instead of making a left towards his apartment, he makes a right towards Sophie's. He stops at her door, out of breath. He knocks. He hears footsteps. Quickly, he pulls up the folded flyer out of his pocket. The peephole in the door goes dark and then light again. He hears locks unlocking. Sophie opens the door halfway. Joker looks down at his feet. Hi, do you like to laugh? What? He continues without taking a breath. Remember the other day when I told you about my stand-up comedy? Well, I'm doing a set next Thursday, and I'm inviting a bunch of friends, and I was wondering if maybe you wanted to come and check it out. He reaches out and gives Sophie the flyer. She opens the door. He notices her face. He sees her eyes are red. Were you crying? Why are you crying? I had a bad day. I'm sorry, I didn't, It's okay, how would you know? What happened? I got fired. From the bank. Joker takes a deep breath and smiles without realizing it, hoping he doesn't start to laugh. What for? Because, I don't know, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't know what I'm gonna do. She starts crying again. Joker doesn't move. He just stands in the doorway, awkward. Okay, well, all of the info is right there on the flyer. He starts to walk away, and then turns back to her. You know, they say laughter is the best medicine. Sophie wipes her eyes and manages a smile. Is that what they say? Joker just nods yes and walks back towards his mother's apartment. Joker sits across from the same social worker from the opening scene, same depressing office. She stares at him for a beat, clearly annoyed. We spoke about this last time, Arthur. You're supposed to bring your journal with you. Well, I didn't think you were going to read it. You said it didn't bother you. I lied. Everything bothers me. What about it bothered you? It's personal. It's my private thoughts. Plus, it contains original comedy material that I don't feel comfortable handing over to you. She looks at him and shakes her head, not in the mood to deal with this. Arthur, I have some bad news for you. He looks up, intrigued. They've cut our funding. We're closing down our offices next week. He looks around, just noticing some moving boxes stacked against the wall. So, where will we be meeting? We won't be. The city is cutting funding across the board. Social services is part of that. Joker nods, not hating the idea. Okay. They don't give a shit about people like you, Arthur. You don't have a voice, and they don't really care what happens to you, or to us for that matter. He sits there a moment, and then it dawns on him. How am I going to get my medication? We close on a couple of pills as they get crushed up. We close on the residue as it's sprinkled on top of a bowl of oatmeal. Happy, come in here. Thomas Wayne is on TV. Joker takes a couple of pills for himself. He looks inside. Not many are left. He looks over at the orange cat sitting on the counter, purring loudly, watching him. Quick, come! Joker walks in carrying her breakfast. She waves him over to her bed. They're interviewing him on those horrible murders on the subway last week. Why are they talking to him? His mother shushes him. Joker sits on the end of the bed next to her. It's one of those Good Morning Gotham shows. As you know, Jerry, all three of them worked at Wayne Investments, so they were the best of the best. Solid young men. A small smirk registers on Joker's face when photos of the three Wall Street guys come up on the screen. And while I don't know them personally, like all Wayne employees past and present, they were family. Joker's mom perks up at that. You hear that? I told you, we're family. We angle on the television, footage of graffiti around the city. Kill the rich, spray painted on a storefront. Fuck Wall Street. Fuck Wall Street, written on a subway wall. Resist, scrawled across a billboard. There now seems to be a groundswell of anti-rich sentiment in the city. It's almost as if our less fortunate residents have taken the side of the killer. Yes, and it's a shame. It's one of the reasons I'm considering a run for mayor. Gotham has lost its way. Are you announcing your candidacy? No comment. We hear his mother gasp, excited. What about the eyewitness report of the suspect being a man in clown makeup or clown mask? Care to comment on that? Joker leans in, intrigued. The camera zooms in closer to Thomas Wayne on the screen. It makes total sense to me. What kind of coward would do something that cold-blooded? Someone who hides behind a mask. Someone who's envious of those more fortunate than themselves, yet too scared to show their own face. Until that jealousy ends, those of us who have made a good life for ourselves will always look at those who haven't as nothing but clowns. Joker's point of view, slowly walking down the hall, backstage at the comedy club, as if in slow motion, towards a curtain at the end, spotlight bleeding through, other wannabe comics looking at him as he passes. We close on Joker, eyeing the others, sweat beading on his forehead. He gets to the curtain, the light. He pulls his worn joke notebook out of his back pocket. Glancing into the room, he sees it's a pretty good crowd. He sees Sophie taking a seat in the back. Wheeling back into the dark hallway, he catches his breath in the shadows. He starts banging his head back against the wall. He hears the MC from the stage. The next comic describes himself as a lifelong Gotham resident who, from a young age, has been told that his purpose in life was to bring joy and laughter into this cold, dark world. Okay. He hears the crowd laugh. Please help me welcome Arthur Fleck. There's a smattering of applause. Joker, stepping out on stage, out under the spotlight, lifts the microphone in front of his mouth. The light is so bright, he can't see the faces of the dark audience, his hand trembling, holding on to his worn notebook. He takes a deep breath, he looks out at the dark crowd and opens his mouth, and starts to laugh. His eyes go wide. God, no, not now! A terrified look comes to his face under the laughter. He just keeps laughing. The crowd is just staring back at him. Finally, he composes himself, trying to stop himself from laughing. Good evening, hello. Deep breath, trying to stop laughing. Good to be here. He keeps cracking up. I hated school as a kid, but my mother would always say. A bad imitation of his mom. Still laughing. You should enjoy it. One day you'll have to work for a living. He laughs. No, I won't, Ma. I'm going to be a comedian. Dead silence. Except for Joker, who is still cracking up. Joker and Sophie walking out of the club after the show. The audience trickles out around them, nobody looking in Joker's direction. Nobody says anything to him, maybe one or two cracking up at him behind his back. Garbage bags crowding the narrow street, lit up by the bright signs. Joker and Sophie walk a ways without saying a word. Awkward silence. So, did you laugh? I really couldn't see much from up there. Sophie pauses. She doesn't know what to say. She lights up a cigarette. Trying to be nice. Of course, yeah. You couldn't hear anything? All I heard was my heart pounding. It was good. I really needed to get out of my apartment, so thanks. What happened to the rest of your friends? What friends? Didn't you say some of your friends were coming? He forgot and recovers. Yeah, I decided not to invite them. As a performer, sometimes you want to see how a real crowd reacts. People who don't already love me, or have a notion of who I am, you know? She nods. Yeah, I get that. Joker smiles at the connection. They walk past a newsstand, a wall of Chinese-language newspapers, mixed with local papers and tabloids, screaming headlines about the 3 Wall Street guys, gunned down on the train. Joker stops and stares at the headlines. Subway vigilante, yuppie slaughter, killer clown on the loose. You believe that shit? Yeah, I don't know how something like that happens. Please, I'll bet you $5 those rich assholes deserved it. He turns to her. You think? Look at their faces, those smug smiles. I've seen that look. Fuck them. Sophie flicks her cigarette away and starts walking. The guy who did it is a hero. 3 less pricks in Gotham City. Woohoo! Only 1,000,000 more to go. Joker watches her walk for a beat. He calls out to her. Hey, you want to get some coffee? Sophie turns and smiles. She looks great, even in front of a mound of garbage bags that lines the sidewalk. An ambulance screams by. Sirens blaring as Sophie says something that Joker doesn't hear. She keeps walking. Joker chases after her and trips over a tin garbage can lid. Clang, clang. He falls down flat on his face. Sophie turns and bursts out laughing. She can't help but laugh. It's the first time she's laughed all night. A table covered with plates of half-eaten Chinese food. Joker and Sophie sitting across from each other, middle of a conversation. Crowded room, brightly lit. Looks more like a casino. Almost everyone eating there is Chinese. It's loud. I'm telling you, it's across the board. Wall Street, the banks, politicians, they've been making a killing for years. Fuck them. Joker takes a moment to think about what she said. I don't know. What don't you know? Not all of them are awful. Take someone like Thomas Wayne, for example. He's a hero. Oh, come on, he's the worst. Joker is taken aback. Sophie, he's the only one who can save this city. You can't be serious. He's a complete narcissist. Brags about his money. Meanwhile, the rest of us can barely make rent or feed our kids. Joker nods, thinking about it. Then, what happened? With what? With your job at the bank. Sophie is suddenly uncomfortable. Oh yeah, we don't have to talk about it. Have you ever been fired before? Joker thinks about it for a moment. Every time. Have you ever wanted to torch the place? Joker thinks it over again. Every time. Sophie smiles. Right. This was like the first good job I had in years. Not waitressing or anything like that. It was a 9 to 5. Benefits. You know what that means when you have kids? Joker just looks at her. He doesn't really know what that means. He just smiles. But from the very first day, the manager guy starts smiling at me, whispering in my ear, touching me, trying to get me to sleep with him. Did you do it? Did you go to bed with him? Fuck no, the guy's a pig. So finally I complained to his boss, and they fired me. And now, I don't know what to do with myself. Right. Wait, what do you mean? I finally felt good, like I had a future, a purpose. Now I don't even know how I'm going to pay my rent. Joker starts laughing. He puts a hand over his mouth trying to cover it, but he can't stop cracking up. It's unsettling and disturbing for Sophie. People eating, waiters in red vests, busboys, they all look over and stare at him. A few laugh. Joker turns away, embarrassed. He looks out the plate glass window, face turning red from laughing so hard. As he looks out, he sees a group of rowdy kids walking down the street. One of them glances back before he turns the corner. He's wearing a clown mask that looks just like Joker's clown face. Then he's gone. The group disappears around the corner. Joker can't believe his eyes. Still laughing. He turns to Sophie, who didn't see them. Just sits there awkwardly, waiting for it to stop. Finally, it subsides. Catching his breath. I'm sorry. I have this thing. I know. So, how did you get it? I don't know. I read you can get it from a brain injury or a lesion in there. My mom said I was born this way. Born laughing. Is that why she calls you happy? Kind of. That actually started when I was a kid. The other kids made fun of me, called me happy, but not in a good way. I got so sick of it. One day when I was 10, What? I took a razor and cut this smile onto my face. She's taken aback as he points to the scars. Sort of like, "You want happy? Here, how's this for happy?" He looks down, still smiling. She just watches him for a beat. "Are you okay?" "I've been thinking about this night my whole life." They just sit there for a beat, quietly. Joker opens the door to his mother's apartment, holding a doggy bag in his hand. He sees the flickering blue light of the TV on in the living room. He hears the end of Live with Murray Franklin. He locks the lock, drawing the security chain high on the door. He turns to catch a glimpse of his mother passed out in the living room, the cat jumping up next to her on the chair. Joker watches for a beat as Murray does his signature sign-off, the one he's been doing for years. "Good night, and always remember, that's life." Joker: "That's life." He hears Don Ellis and his jazz orchestra playing the show's closing song, the instrumental version of Frank Sinatra's "That's Life." As the music continues, Joker puts his face up against his mom's nose to see if she's breathing, or if she's dead. He feels her breath against his cheek. Now he picks his mother up in his arms and carries her into her bedroom to the music, as if he's dancing with her as he leaves the room. We stay behind. "That's Life" is playing on the TV. He comes back into the living room and turns off the TV, takes off his jacket and throws it on the couch. He notices something out of his jacket pocket. He pulls it out. It's the envelope he was supposed to deliver to Thomas Wayne. He stares at it for a beat, then quickly rips it open and starts to read. "Dearest Thomas, I don't know where else to turn. Need your help. You have a son. We have a son. His name is Arthur." He stops reading and stays on, "You have a son." Joker staring down at the letter, reading those words over and over again. "You have a son." Joker is sitting in a chair in his mother's room watching her sleep. He has clearly been up all night. He's still wearing the same clothes. He's holding her letter in his hand as the sun is just starting to rise outside the windows. Light is just beginning to crack the gloom. The orange cat sits at his feet, staring up at him, won't take her eyes off of him. Joker impatiently sits there for another moment, waiting for his mother to wake up, then suddenly shrieks out at the top of his lungs like a teapot, kicking his back on the chair like an excited toddler. His mother wakes with a start, looking around half asleep and confused. Joker turns and sees the cat running out of the room. What time is it?" He doesn't answer. "What happened? Did you hurt yourself again?" Joker holds her letter up in his hand. "What is this? How come you never told me? Is that my letter? Is that my letter, Happy? How could you not tell me, Ma? You told me you dropped it off. You have no right opening my mail. Who do you think you are?" Raising his voice, excited. "Apparently I'm Thomas Wayne's son. How could you keep that from me?" His mother slowly getting up out of bed. "Stop yelling at me. You're going to kill me, give me a heart attack." She goes into the bathroom. He shouts after her. "I'm not yelling. I'm just excited. How can any of this be real? How can Thomas Wayne be my father?" She shouts from behind the door. "I'm not going to talk to you until you calm down." Joker sits for a minute and then gets up, goes to her bathroom door, talks to his mother from behind the door. He lowers his voice, trying to sound calm. "Okay, how is this, Mom? Better? Will you please talk to me?" Joker leans in closer to the door, leaning against it with just his head. "Please. He is an extraordinary man, Arthur. We had a connection. I was so beautiful then. We were in love." Joker just leans there listening. He closes his eyes. It's all too much. His wife could see it. She was jealous from the moment I started working there. She fired me before I even knew I was pregnant with you." Hearing her crying. "And I never told you, or him, or anybody, because, well, you can imagine what people would say about Thomas and me, and what they would say about you." Joker's eyes still closed, head leaning against the door. "What would they say, Ma? That I was a whore, and Thomas Wayne was a fornicator. That you're a little unwanted bastard." The bathroom door suddenly swings open, and Joker falls face first into the bathroom, just missing his mother, crashing down onto the floor. Joker heads down the boardwalk toward Ha-Ha's, a bounce in his step. Looming behind him, like the skeletons of monsters, a sprawling, rickety-looking wooden roller coaster, and the gigantic steel wonder wheel in the amusement park by the ocean. Sound of waves crashing, seagulls squawking. Joker walks into the locker room and sees Randall, half-dressed for work, red nose, big pants, big shoes, no wig yet, sitting with Gary, 2 other clowns, and a musician around the small table, shooting the shit, drinking coffee. They nod hello at Joker or give him a perfunctory wave. Most of his coworkers think he's a freak. "Hey Art, I heard what happened. I'm sorry, man." "Hey, Hoyt did you wrong, buddy. Doesn't seem fair." Joker looks hard at Randall for a moment. He just slowly nods and continues on to his locker. He starts to clean it out, stuffing all of his clown gear into an old brown paper shopping bag. He hears them talking about him behind his back, about why he got fired, laughing at him. "Did you really bring a gun into the kids' hospital, Artie? What the fuck would you do that for?" Joker doesn't answer them, just continues emptying his locker. A bag of balloons, a magic wand, some trick flowers. "No, I heard he pulled it out and waved it around like a cowboy." His coworkers crack up. Joker answers the guy without looking back. "It was a prop gun, and I didn't pull it out, it fell out." "So is that part of your new act? If your singing doesn't do the trick, you just gonna shoot yourself?" More laughter. "I think Jingles was a lover, not a fighter." Joker turns and looks at all of them. He nods at Randall. "Why don't you ask Randall about it? It was his idea." "Since when do you use a prop gun?" "What? I don't. Stop talking out of your ass, Art." "I think all this stupid laughing must have scrambled his brain or something." The guys laugh and keep jawing. Joker doesn't say anything. He just finishes packing his bag and closes his locker door. Joker exits the back holding onto his brown shopping bag. He starts down the alley. Behind him, Randall hustles out and chases down the alley after him. Still half-dressed for work, he calls out, "Art, hold up!" As he catches up with Joker, his red nose falls off, but he's so out of breath, he doesn't realize he lost it. "What the fuck was that about?" "What? Why did you say that? That it was my idea?" Joker just looks back at Randall. He sees his red styrofoam nose bouncing down the alley behind him. "You don't get it, do you, buddy? That shit that went down on the subway, that's no joke. They got clown sketches on the front of every fucking paper. It's just a matter of time before the cops come around." "I don't know anything about it." He leans in closer and lowers his voice. "Artie, you know you're my boy. I'm not gonna say shit. I just hope you get rid of that gun. That it can't come back on me, okay? Randall, I didn't shoot anybody. That wasn't me. And I don't have time for this. I got somebody really important I gotta go see." Joker turns to go. "You know they're selling masks." "What?" "They're selling masks of your clown face. Based off the description, I guess. It's like a thing now." "What are you talking about?" "There's a lot of people in this city who are happy you did what you did. If you did it." "Randall, your nose." "What?" Randall touches his face and realizes his nose is not there. Joker points to Randall's clown nose tumbling back down the alley. Randall hustles after it, chasing after his red nose, blowing, skipping away in the wind. We cut to today's tabloid, a more detailed drawing of Killer Clown sketch on the front page. Subheading, Kill the Rich, a new movement? A photograph of Thomas Wayne ripped out from a magazine, taped to a page. Arthur glances at it. Distorted reflection in the window. He takes his hand and parts his hair to the side, more like Thomas Wayne's hair. Maybe there is a resemblance. In a wider angle, the train is packed with wealthy white businessmen, a couple businesswomen heading home after work, many of them reading the same tabloid, The Killer Clown. A sketch of Joker's clown face dots the train. No empty seats except the one next to Joker. Joker in the back of a taxi, staring out at the countryside, the trees and green grass and blue sky, open spaces whizzing by. The sun is getting low, bathing everything in a golden light. He doesn't see garbage anywhere. Joker walking along an intimidating wrought iron fence, surrounding the estate like prison bars. The brown paper shopping bag stuffed under his arm. The big house set up on a small hill. Evergreens dot the lush grounds. As he walks around looking for the front entrance, Joker catches a glimpse of an innocent-looking 8-year-old boy, tracking him from behind the trees, hiding as he follows. Joker stops. He sees the boy stop behind a tree. Joker continues walking until he gets to the front gate. He digs into his bag and pulls out the magic wand. He holds it up for the boy to see. The boy steps out from behind a tree to get closer. Joker puts the brown bag down on the ground and looks over the wand, pretending like he's trying to figure out what it does. He waves the wand over the front gate lock to try and see if it will open. It doesn't. The little boy walks down toward the fence, face like an angel. Joker waits until he gets closer and reaches his hand through the fence, hands the kid his magic wand, so he can try and figure out what it does. The boy takes the wand and it goes limp in his hand before he can wave it. He laughs, surprised. He hands it back to Joker. The boy sees Joker's face up close, staring at his scarred smile. Joker straightens the wand back out and reaches in through the fence so the kid can give it another try. The magic wand droops in the boy's hand. He laughs and gives it back. Joker examines the wand as if it's broken. It stiffens one last time. He crouches down lower and, ta-da! A bouquet of flowers bursts out of the end of the wand. Joker smiles and hands him a wand bouquet of flowers. The little boy takes the flowers. He keeps staring at Joker, at the scars around his mouth. Now he reaches his hand through the fence and touches Joker's face, tracing his finger around the edge of Joker's mouth over his scarred smile. Joker closes his eyes embarrassed, but it feels good to him. Nobody ever touches him besides his mother. He starts to smile when a man's voice shatters the moment, shouting in a slightly English accent, "Bruce, what are you doing? Get away from that man!" The little boy pulls his hand back, he turns and runs away. Joker looks up and sees a balding, tired-looking Alfred Pennyworth, bounding down the hill toward them. Joker stands back up. "What are you doing? Who are you?" Little Bruce runs behind Alfred, hiding behind his legs. "My name is Arthur. I'm here to see Mr. Wayne." "You shouldn't be talking to his son. Why did you give him those flowers?" Alfred takes the flower wand away from the kid. I was trying to make him laugh." He hands it back to Joker. "Well, it's not funny. Do I need to call the police?" "No, please. My mother's name is Penny Fleck. She used to work here years ago. Can you tell Mr. Wayne that I need to see him?" The color drains from his face. "You're her son? Do you know her?" Alfred doesn't say anything. Joker puts his face right up against the bars and whispers so the boy can't hear him. "You don't need to cover for them. I'm sure Mrs. Wayne was very upset when she found out. There was nothing to find out about. Your mother was delusional. She was a sick woman. No, just let me speak to Mr. Wayne. Now Alfred leans in closer to Joker, almost like he feels pity for him. Please just go, before you make a fool of yourself. Thomas Wayne is my father! Alfred looks at Joker, and can't help but cracking up laughing at him. Joker reaches through the bars and grabs him, pulls him in close, trying to choke him, still holding the wand and flowers in one hand. As he chokes Alfred, Joker sees little Bruce, wide-eyed in the shadows, looking out in horror. Joker stops. He lets go of Alfred and takes off running down the street away from Wayne Manor, magic wand in hand, leaving the rest of his clown gear behind. Joker is back in his part of town, garbage everywhere. The neighborhood at night is alive, loud kids on the street corners, a drunk seemingly fighting no one, hookers working the street. He hears a wailing siren. As Joker turns the corner, he sees an ambulance parked in front of his building. Lights flashing, hit with a sense of dread, he runs toward the building. A small crowd of gawkers have gathered around to watch the drama unfold, shouting and laughing, loud dance music blaring out an open window. It feels like an impromptu block party. Joker runs up and sees his mother being wheeled down the front steps, unconscious on a stretcher, an EMT holding an oxygen bag in her face, 2 detectives in plain suits following behind them. It's a chaotic scene. From above, Joker, pushing through the crowd, rushes to his mother's side. We don't hear what he says to the paramedics over the music and the crowd, just sees them nod okay, and Joker follows after them into the back of the ambulance. Joker looking out the back doors as they start to shut close. He catches a glimpse of Sophie coming out of the building. He stares at her through the small back door window. He casually waves at her, trying to connect. Joker sees the 2 detectives approaching Sophie as the ambulance pulls away, speeding away down the street, siren wailing. Joker is standing near the doorway of a large, overcrowded treatment room, watching a sleep-deprived ER resident, late 20s, and an emergency nurse start to intubate his mother. He hears shouts and cries of pain from around the crowded room. Joker turns away when he sees them insert a thin endotracheal tube into her mouth and down through her larynx. It makes him gag. Joker sits on a bench outside the bustling emergency room. He's getting some fresh air, but he picked a weird spot to do it. He watches the sick and dying being rushed through the glass doors, open and close. This happens in the background throughout the scene. The 2 detectives walk up to Joker, interrupting him watching the doors. Gotham police detectives. Garrity, in his 50s, gray hair, and Burke, 30s, his partner. Mr. Fleck, sorry to bother you. I'm Detective Garrity. This is my partner, Detective Burke. Joker looks up at them, doesn't say anything. We had a few questions for you, but you weren't home, so we spoke to your mother. You did this to her? What? No, we just asked her some questions. She started getting hysterical, hyperventilating, trouble speaking, then she collapsed. She hit her head pretty hard. They told me she had a stroke. Sorry to hear that. Joker bursts out laughing. He can't stop it. The detectives are taken aback. They don't know what to make of him laughing. They share a look. I'm lost. Is something funny? Joker is choking on his laughter. No, I have Tears are rolling down his face. He takes out one of his cards and hands it to Detective Burke. Burke glances over the card, a skeptical look on his face. Okay, but we have some questions for you. About those subway killings from a few weeks ago. Joker pauses for a moment, His laughter subsides. He holds his breath. I don't know anything about that. We have an eyewitness who described a white male about 6 feet tall in clown makeup or a clown mask. Spoke to your boss at Ha-Ha's, Mr. Vaughn. Said you were on a job the day of the shooting. Joker still holding his breath. He nods yes. Detective Garrity continues. He said you just got fired that day for bringing a gun into the children's hospital. Joker cracks up again, his laughter coming back harder. He covers his mouth with his hand, shaking his head no, his face now turning red. You weren't fired? Joker catches his breath as the intensity of his laughter starts to wane, petering out. Not for having a gun. That was a prop gun. Part of my act. Joker's laughter finally stops for good. So why were you fired? They said I wasn't funny. The detectives share another look. Joker stands up. Now, if you don't mind, I have to go back and look after my mother. Detective Burke steps close to him. He holds up the card that Joker handed him. Hey, let me ask you a question. This condition thing, is it real or is it some sort of clown thing? Clown thing? I mean, is it part of your act? What do you think? Joker walks away and heads for the sliding glass doors. Only the motion detector doesn't engage. He slams right into the glass door, hard, and he bounces back. Joker walks down the hallway. The ER is flooded with the poor and uninsured. Overwhelmed doctors and nurses trying their best to keep up. He stops at the busy nurses' station. He stands there for a moment, trying to get a nurse's attention. Excuse me, I was wondering how I could check my mother out of here. One of the nurses at the desk looks up at him, seems slightly annoyed. What is your mother's name? Penny Fleck. I'd like to take her home. The sleep-deprived ER resident who was working on his mother overhears Joker, comes over to him with a clipboard in hand. Mr. Fleck, your mother had a stroke. It's very serious. You can't check her out. She's going to be here for at least a week. She's not going to want to stay that long. She doesn't like hospitals or doctors. I'm sorry to hear that, but she can't just leave. I don't like hospitals either. The resident just nods. Okay. He looks down at his clipboard. Listen, I wanted to talk to you about something we noticed in her tox report. We found heavy traces of multiple medications in her system. Okay, thanks. He turns to go, but the resident continues. One of them is pernafazine. It's a powerful antipsychotic. If she was taking that regularly and then suddenly stopped, the withdrawal could have contributed to her stroke. Did you notice any symptoms? Symptoms? Withdrawal symptoms? Nausea, anxiety, hallucinations? Joker shakes his head, no. Do you know how long she's been taking it? Joker shakes his head no again, leans in closer to the resident. Can you tell me what those symptoms are again? We are close on a TV. Murray Franklin is in the middle of doing his monologue. So I told my youngest son, Tommy. Remember, he's the not-so-bright one? I told him that the garbage strike is still going on, and he says, I'm not kidding. Tommy says, so where are we going to get all our garbage from? Murray Franklin cracks up at his own joke. The studio audience laughs. Joker laughs, lying in bed next to his unconscious mother in the large, overcrowded treatment room. Blue curtain dividers separate the bays. He's watching the show on a TV bolted high on the wall. He glances over at his mother, laughing over the sounds of her labored breath, the pain and suffering of those around him. He looks up at the television. And finally, in a world where everyone thinks they could do my job, we got this videotape from the Gotham Comedy Club. Here's a guy who thinks if you just keep laughing, it'll somehow make you funny. Check out this Joker. Extreme close on TV. Joker's stand-up performance. Joker is on stage smiling behind the microphone under the harsh spotlight. Joker is watching himself on TV. His jaw drops, trying to stop himself from laughing. "Good evening. Hello. Good to be here." He keeps cracking up. I hated school as a kid, but my mother would always say." He's still laughing. "You should enjoy it. One day you'll have to work for a living." He laughs. "No, I won't, Ma. I'm going to be a comedian." Back to Murray Franklin shaking his head, trying not to laugh. "You should have listened to your mother." The studio audience erupts into laughter. We angle on Joker, watching Murray Franklin make fun of him on TV. He gets up and starts walking towards the TV, as if in a trance, unsure if this is really happening. "One more, Bernie. Let's see one more. I love this guy." The tape continues of Joker at the comedy club. "It's funny, when I was a little boy and told people I wanted to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me." He opens his arms like a big shot. "Well, no one is laughing now." Dead silence. Nobody is laughing. Not even him. We cut back on Murray Franklin, shaking his head. "You can say that again, pal." Murray cracks up and the studio audience laughs along with him. Joker is looking up at the television, hearing them all laughing at him. A beat. Joker is dragging a chair to the television set. In a rage, he gets up on the chair and tries to pull the TV out of the wall. The show continues to play, but the set is firmly secured to the wall, and Joker pulls so hard the chair flips from underneath him. He goes flying up in the air, crashing hard on the floor. Joker walks with a plastic tray of food through the city hospital cafeteria, some runny eggs and a coffee. He keeps his head down so no one can see his face. There are a few doctors and nurses sitting and chatting at one table. A group of orderlies are sitting together at another table. He goes and sits down in the far corner, far away from everyone else. He sees a tabloid newspaper on the table and picks it up so he doesn't seem so alone. On the front page headline, Thomas Wayne announces run. A full-page campaign-style photograph of Thomas Wayne waving to a crowd, standing next to his wife, Martha, 50s, a severe-looking, well-preserved former model, and little Bruce Wayne standing in front of them. The photo catches Bruce looking into camera, eyes wide, scared by the crowd. The subheadline reads, "Protest planned at Wayne Hall opening tonight." Joker stares at the family photo. We close on Bruce Wayne in the photo, Joker's finger ripping his picture out of the front page. Sorry to bother you," a young doctor. "But can you settle an argument for us?" Joker looks up, interrupted from ripping out the picture. One young doctor and two nurses are standing around him. We stay with Joker, but don't see their faces, just their bodies, dressed in green scrubs and uniforms. "Excuse me? You were the guy on Murray Franklin last night, right?" We hear the nurses giggle. "No, sorry, that wasn't me." "Of course it was you. You were the comedian." "Except you weren't funny. You didn't tell any jokes." He hears the nurses giggle again. We stay close on Joker getting upset. He just shakes his head. "I don't know what you're talking about." "No, it was definitely you, buddy. You're the guy who couldn't stop laughing. Murray killed you." More laughter. Joker looks up at them. "If I were you, I'd walk away from this table before I strangle all three of you with that fucking stethoscope hanging from your neck." Joker crosses a busy street, heading to the Center for Performing Arts. The lights are falling. Storm clouds are gathering. Joker stops when he sees a crowd of protesters screaming and shouting in front of Wayne Hall, behind steel barricades. Many are wearing Joker's clown face mask, A few wave homemade signs: clown for mayor, kill the rich, Mr. Wayne, am I a clown? A line of policemen and security guards stand between the crowd and the lit-up white marble building. Joker watches the protest for a moment, then continues across the street. It starts to rain. A fight breaks out between a clown-masked protester and two cops. The crowd goes crazy, pushing through the barricades toward the building in the driving rain. The police and Wayne Hall security fight to keep them out. Amidst all the chaos, we glimpse Joker slipping into the building unnoticed. Joker walks through the massive, multi-level lobby. It's completely empty, since the performance has already begun. Whatever security was available is outside, helping the police deal with protesters. He looks up in awe at the crystal chandeliers, the shiny marble floor beneath his feet. He has never seen anything this opulent in his entire life. Joker making his way through the dark shadows along the back wall of the auditorium, looking for Thomas Wayne in the sold-out black tie audience. He catches bits of Chaplin's Modern Times projected on a screen behind the Gotham Philharmonic, playing the silent movie score. The tramp roller skating blindfolded on a date with the gamin, Paulette Goddard, in a department store. He continues moving along the wall from aisle to aisle looking for Thomas Wayne. The audience laughs as the tramp skates blindfoldedly, skirting along the edge of a balcony with no rail. Orchestra playing the bouncy score. Joker can't find Thomas Wayne in the dark. He moves to the top of the next aisle, pausing to watch more of the film. Suddenly, someone bumps into Joker. He looks up and sees it's one of Thomas Wayne's two security guards, escorting Thomas Wayne out of the auditorium. Joker turns and watches them lead him out. Behind Joker on the screen, the tramp is rescued by the girl before he falls off the edge. Orchestra swelling. Joker peeks his head out of the auditorium and sees Thomas Wayne heading into the men's room, his two security guards waiting by the door. We still hear the orchestra playing the score. Joker glances back into the auditorium, sees a lobby broom and upright dustpan tucked in the back corner. Joker is sweeping the hallway with his head down. We hear the orchestra play the melancholy Smile from the film's score. He sweeps along to the music, like Emmett Kelly's famous hobo clown, sweeping around the two security guards' feet. Annoyed, they move a bit further away from the bathroom door. They don't give Joker a second look as he heads inside. Joker sweeps his way into the cavernous black and white tiled bathroom, ornate gold fixtures. It's empty save for Thomas Wayne peeing at the far end of a long line of urinals. Joker takes a deep breath and walks down the line of urinals right up to Thomas Wayne. He stands there for a beat while Thomas urinates, the lobby broom and upright dustpan in hand. "Can I help you, pal?" What? Yeah, no, You need to get in here or something?" Thomas Wayne finishes and zips his fly back up. Joker is not sure what to say. He just says, "Dad, it's me." Thomas Wayne doesn't hear him. He was flushing the urinal. He walks toward the sink. "Excuse me?" Joker follows after him. "My name is Arthur. I'm Penny's son. I know you didn't know about me, and I don't want anything from you. Well, maybe just a hug." Joker smiles. It's very emotional for him. Thomas looks over at him like he's fucking crazy. "Jesus, you're the guy who came to my house yesterday." Joker nods. Relieved, he finally broke through. "Yes, but they wouldn't let me in. They wouldn't let me see you, so I came here. I have so many questions." Thomas Wayne just laughs to himself and turns on the gold faucets at one of the sinks. "Look, pal, I'm not your father. What's wrong with you?" "How do you know?" Thomas Wayne just keeps washing his hands. He doesn't even look over at Joker. 'Cause you were adopted, and I never fucked your mother. What do you want from me, money? No. What, I wasn't adopted? Thomas starts drying his hands. She never told you. Your mother adopted you before she even started working for us. She was arrested when you were 4 years old and committed to Arkham State Hospital. She's batshit crazy. Joker starts to smile. He feels a laugh coming on. No, I don't believe that. Thomas finishes drying his hands. He turns to Joker, his tone way more serious now. I don't really give a shit what you believe. But if you ever come to my house again, if you ever talk to my son again, or if I ever hear about you again. Joker cracks up laughing, interrupting his threat, laughing right in his face. Are you laughing at me? Joker's laughing so hard he can't answer. Thomas shoves Joker hard against the tiled wall, gripping his neck with one hand. Joker just cracks up louder. He drops the dustpan and broom. You think this is funny? Thomas Wayne's security guards bang open the door, rushing into the bathroom when they hear the shouting. They stop when they see Thomas has Joker jacked up against the wall. Joker tries to shake his head no, still laughing and choking. No, I have a Thomas interrupts, raising his voice. Is this a fucking joke to you? Thomas Wayne punches Joker straight in the face with his free hand, blood spraying from his nose. The two security guards roughly throw Joker out of the hall, right in front of the drenched crowd of screaming protesters. TV cameras and photographers now on hand, bulbs flashing. Joker, knowing how to take the fall, plays it up in front of the audience for all it's worth, tumbling end over end, out onto the plaza in the rain. He rolls to his feet with a bit of panache and brushes himself off like it was nothing. The protesters go crazy, cheering and applauding his act. Joker takes a deep dramatic bow. Wet hair, bloody nose. He turns and sees the security guards coming back. Joker takes off running through the plaza in the downpour, running out of the Center for Performing Arts. He turns down a side street, almost slipping. He keeps running, even though nobody is chasing him. We hear the familiar beat of Sugar Hill Gang's Apache, as Joker just keeps running and running. Joker is knocking on Sophie's apartment door, Apache blaring inside. He is soaking wet, clothes clinging to his body. There's no answer. He knocks again. It's hard to hear anything over the loud music. Now he tries the door. It's unlocked. Joker walks into Sophie's apartment, Apache thumping, lights dim. Sophie? He walks into the dark living room, catches a glimpse of Sophie, naked, riding on top of some guy on the couch. The guy sees Joker standing in the shadows and jumps. Sophie turns and sees Joker as well. She screams. Joker rushes for his mother's apartment. Behind him, the guy comes out half naked into the hallway, zips up his pants, screaming at Joker. Joker doesn't look back. He doesn't hear the guy yelling at him. He quickly opens the door to his mother's apartment and hurries inside. A gray behemoth state hospital looming over the city block. Metal screens cover steel-framed windows. Joker crosses the street towards the building, eyes weary. He hasn't slept in days. He sees two Gotham City cops and a paramedic rolling a gurney into the entrance. A naked, sunburned man screaming his head off is handcuffed to a stretcher underneath a white sheet. Joker follows him inside. Joker sits waiting in a cramped office, looking out a plexiglass window that overlooks the crowded hallway. A constant din of people moving about, talking and shouting. Patients handcuffed to the armrests of their wheelchairs, lying on stretchers, heads covered with pillowcase turbans or forearms block out the harsh fluorescent lights. His gaze is interrupted by a clerk in his 40s, ID clipped to his shirt, who is lugging an old, heavy file storage box. He drops the box down on his messy desk with a thud. "Hey, sorry for the wait. All our records that are 10 years or older are stored in the basement. You're talking over 30 years ago. I had to do some serious digging." Joker nods, thanks. "Like I said, if it's in here, I'm still gonna need a release from her." The clerk opens the file box and starts digging through it. Joker stares out the plexiglass window that faces the hallway. "Can I ask you a question? How does someone wind up in here? Have all these people committed crimes?" The clerk going through the files. "Some have. Some are just crazy and pose a danger to themselves or others. Some just got nowhere else to go." Joker nods and looks down. "Yeah, I know how that is. Sometimes I don't know what to do, you know? I don't think I can take any more of this." The clerk is half listening as he scans the paperwork. "Yeah, I can't take much more of this shit either. Now they're talking about layoffs, man. We're understaffed as it is. I don't know what I'm gonna do." Joker looks up at the guy, thinking he has made a connection. "Last time I ended up taking it out on some people. Bad shit. I thought it was gonna bother me, but it really hasn't." For the first time, the clerk looks at him. "What's that? It's just so hard to try and be happy all the time, you know? When everything is going to shit all around you." Clerk taken aback. "Listen, I'm just an administrative assistant, like a clerk. I file paperwork, fill out forms. I don't really know what to tell you, but maybe you should see someone. Like, they have programs, city services." Joker backtracking. "Yeah, they cut those. Anyways, I was just talking to talk." The clerk just nods, finally finds what he was looking for. Here it is, fleck, penny fleck. He pulls out an old file, bulging with yellowing records. He moves the box to the floor and sits down at his desk, saying it out loud for himself to hear. "So she was a patient here." The guy opens the file, yellowing pages of her records. The clerk nods, skim reading. "Uh-huh, diagnosed by Benjamin Stoner. The patient suffers from delusional psychosis and narcissistic personality disorder. Found guilty of endangering the welfare of a child." The clerk stops reading out loud, eyes going wide as he skims further ahead. Joker just looks at the guy, waiting to see what he's going to say. "What? You said she's your mother?" Joker just nods. I'm sorry, I can't. Like I said, I can't release this without the proper forms. I could get in trouble." He closes the file. Besides, it's pretty bad. Close on Joker. He shakes his head and smiles to himself. "I can handle bad. I've been on a pretty bad run myself." The clerk puts the file down on his desk. "I can't help you. If you want these records, you have to get your mom to sign a patient disclosure form. I can have someone mail you one." Joker just sits there, thinking it all over for a moment. Then he snatches the file off the clerk's desk. The clerk grabs it as well. They play tug-of-war with the file. It's awkward and goes on for way too long. Finally, Joker shoves the guy hard and pulls the file away. He takes off running out of the office with it. The clerk watches for a beat, but does nothing. Joker runs down the hallway, files in his hand, frantic, unaware he is not being chased. He turns a corner and runs down another long hallway, gets to the stairwell door and runs in. Bounding down the steps, he stops at a landing below. He looks up, sees no one is chasing after him. Joker catches his breath. He opens the file, flipping through the records. He finds the page that the clerk was reading. As he reads it over for himself, he hears his mother being interviewed for her psychiatric assessment over 30 years ago. "He's not adopted. He's Thomas Wayne's son. I work for him. I told you. I clean his house. He's always smiling at me." Penny Fleck, late 20s, sitting across the table, from Dr. Benjamin Stoner. In a dreary small interview room, windows covered with security screens, Penny takes a drag off a cigarette. Her face is beaten to shit, nose battered, lip busted up. Dr. Stoner is going over Penny's thick file, the same file Joker is holding in his hands. "We went over this, Penny. You adopted him. We have all the paperwork right here." Penny doesn't say anything, just smiles, like she's in on a big secret, and exhales smoke. Dr. Stoner keeps going through the file. He pulls out black and white forensic photographs of the 3-year-old Joker's body. "You also stood by as one of your boyfriends repeatedly abused your adopted son and battered you." Penny looks at Dr. Stoner like he's crazy. "He didn't do anything to me, or to my boy. Can I go now? I don't like hospitals." Dr. Stoner lays out the photographs in front of Penny. Penny keeps smoking her cigarette, glances down at the photos. We catch glimpses of various bruises on part of Joker's body. A filthy crib, a rope tied to a radiator. Joker, looking over the same black and white photographs, still hears his mother. "I never heard him crying, not once. He's always been such a happy boy." "Penny, your son was found tied to a radiator in your filthy apartment. Malnourished, multiple bruises across his body, severe trauma to his head." Joker looks up from the file when he hears/reads this. He turns up and looks at Penny's reaction. He's now in the interview room with them, living what he is reading on the page. He sees his mother lean forward in her chair, glaring at Dr. Stoner. "That's not true. My apartment is not filthy. I keep a clean house." Joker just stares at his mother. Dr. Stoner looks at Penny, not sure how to respond to that. "And what do you have to say about your son?" We angle on Penny thinking it over, taking a drag off her cigarette. "I'm just glad I got to know him." Joker keeps staring at her as she exhales. Joker, back on the stairwell, looks up from the file. It looks like maybe cigarette smoke drifting in front of his face. Joker walking fast towards a playground. He sees Sophie talking to some other moms as Gigi and a few other kids play on the monkey bars. Sophie walks towards him, still disturbed about last night. "What the hell was that? You can't just walk into my apartment like that." He's taken aback by her anger. "No, wait, Sophie. We can get through this. That's why I'm here." "What are you talking about? What do you think this is?" "I don't know. I've never been with a woman like that, but this feels like a beginning to me." "Arthur, I was just being nice to you. I felt sorry for you. I have a boyfriend." "You what? What kind of woman are you? Who does that?" Some of the other mothers turn towards them. "You need to leave. I'm not having this conversation with you." He shouts, "Why not?" Gigi runs up to Sophie's side to see what's going on, to see if her mother is okay. Sophie turns to her daughter. "Go back with your friends, honey. Mommy is having a grown-up talk." Before Gigi leaves, Joker looks down at her. "No, don't listen to her, Gigi. You need to hear this. Your mother is a bad person. She is a whore. She's seeing 2 men at once. You can't trust her. She'll break your fucking heart." Joker turns to go. Behind him, Gigi starts crying. He's close to tears himself. Sophie takes off after him, reaches out and grabs. Joker spins quickly around to face her. Looks like he might even hit her. "How come nothing ever comes easy for me?" Sophie slaps him hard across the face, then turns and walks away. We close on Joker. He begins to laugh. Joker maniacally pacing around the living room, banging the side of his head with his hand, muttering to himself, almost like he's having a conversation, taking part in some story in his head. In the background, the 11 o'clock news is playing on the television. Footage of a protest in front of Wayne Tower. Protesters in Joker clown masks. We hear the news anchor's bombastic voiceover. The anger and resentment that's been building up for weeks now seems close to exploding. Protesters today, many dressed as clowns, took to the streets in front of Wayne Tower in one of many planned demonstrations. Joker stops when he hears this, turns to the flickering screen. Protesters in the middle of a massive crowd outside Wayne Tower on a television screen. You'll see what's gonna happen at City Hall next Thursday. We're gonna... Joker sits down on the couch, leans forward to make sure he's seeing what he's seeing. Another clown interrupts, screaming into camera. Beep the rich, beep the media, beep the blacks, beep the whites, beep everybody. They're all beeped us. That's what this is all beeping about. Joker doesn't even blink. It's like he's watching himself on television. The sun is peeking through the windows of his mother's apartment. The phone is ringing. Joker opens his eyes. His orange cat is sitting on his chest staring at him. He finally got some sleep. He lies there for a beat. The phone is still ringing until the machine picks up the call. This message is for Arthur Fleck. My name is Shirley Woods. I work on the Murray Franklin show. Joker sits up. The cat jumps off his chest. He can't believe what he's hearing. He gets up off the couch as the woman continues to leave the message on the machine. I don't know if you're aware, but Murray played a clip of your stand-up on a show recently, and we've gotten an amazing... Joker picks up the phone. Who is this? Hi, this is Shirley Woods from Murray Franklin Live. Is this Arthur? Yes. Joker looks down at the cat purring at his feet and kicks it away. Hi, Arthur. Well, as I was saying, we've gotten a lot of calls about your clip. Amazing responses. And Murray asked if I would reach out to see if you would come on as his guest. Can we set up a day? We push in on Joker's face as it sinks in. Murray wants me to come on the show? Yes. Isn't that great? He'd love to talk to you. Maybe do some of your act. Does that sound good to you? The push-in on Joker finishes and holds. Joker walks into his mother's shared hospital room, passing an elderly wheezing woman in the bed closest to the door. He sees his mom in her bed by the window. He pulls the blue curtains separating the bed, giving him and his mother some privacy. He sits down on the edge of her bed. She smiles when she sees him, still fairly incapacitated. He leans down close to her. He speaks softly, but filled with rage. Ma, remember how you used to tell me that God gave me this laugh for a reason? That I had a purpose, to bring laughter and joy into this fucked up world? She looks at him confused. It wasn't God. It was you, or one of your boyfriends. How could you let that happen? What kind of woman are you? What kind of mother are you? She looks away. What is my real name? Her whole body is shaking, overwhelmed with emotion. Come on, Ma, I know I was adopted. What's my name? Who am I really? She looks back at him, struggling to speak. Joker interrupts, snaps at her. Happy? I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for 1 minute of my entire fucking life. He reaches behind her, grabs one of her pillows. But you know what's funny? You know what really makes me laugh? He leans down closer, face to face with her. I used to think my life was nothing but a tragedy. But now I realize it's all just a fucking comedy. The other side of the blue curtain divide. We see Joker's feet shifting a little. Slowly we pull out, backing out of the room, leaving behind whatever Joker is doing to his mother on the other side of the curtain. We hear applause. Joker is studying VHS tapes of Murray Franklin Live. His studio audience applauding Murray. He jots down notes in his worn notebook, watches the guests come out, how they cross the stage, how they greet Murray, how they sit down, if they cross their legs or not, studying how he should act, how to be a person like other people. His cat sits on top of the TV, watching him the whole time, never taking her eyes off him. Practicing, Joker walks across the living room like he's on the show, smiling and waving to the audience. He mimes shaking Murray's hand. He mimes unbuttoning his jacket and sitting down. He smiles and pulls out his worn notebook from his pocket. "You want to hear a joke, Murray?" He waits for Murray to answer. Then Joker nods okay and opens his notebook. Knock, knock. His cat still watching him, now at his feet. Joker crosses and uncrosses his legs. He looks comfortable. He glances down at his cat. It's as if he can hear the cat talking to him. Joker nods, frustrated. "Yeah, I don't know if I should cross him or uncross him. Both feel completely unnatural." Joker gets up off the couch and walks back across the living room. He waves to the audience. He mimes shaking Murray's hand. He mimes unbuttoning his coat and sits down, crossing his legs. "Thanks for having me on, Murray. I can't tell you how much this means to me. It's been a lifelong dream. I have a joke for you." Joker stands back up. He looks down at the cat again. You're right. Uncrossed is better." Joker sits back down and doesn't cross his legs this time. Potter's Field Cemetery at dusk. A lone figure in a vast sea of mass graves, gray headstones. This is where they bury the poor and unclaimed dead. Joker stands by his mother's grave, his head bowed, face in his hands, his body convulsing. He's dressed in an ill-fitted, faded, rust-colored suit, almost shiny from all the wear. Behind him in the distance, 2 detectives stand by their parked car on the cemetery roadway, sun dying in the sky. Close on Joker's face, buried in his hands, we can see that he's laughing, but it's impossible to tell if he's laughing because of his condition or laughing for real. Joker, walking away from his mother's grave, goes to 2 detectives, Garrity and Burke, waiting for him by their unmarked car. His face is still red, with tears in his eyes from laughing. With restrained anger. "You shouldn't be here. It's not right." "We just came to pay our respects. Sorry about your mother." "Yeah, it's too bad." Joker just stares at the 2 detectives. An awkward beat passes. "Where is everybody?" "It's always been just me and her." Joker pauses for a moment and then starts to walk away. "Hey, we saw you on Murray Franklin." Joker turns back to them. "You saw that?" "Yeah, heard you were on, so we got the videotape. Just couldn't tell if you were actually trying to be funny or not." "Well, I guess you didn't get the joke." "Listen, we need to clear up a few things. We spoke to the hospital administrator." "Which hospital?" "The children's hospital. The night you were fired. He said it didn't look like a prop gun. It was heavy, like a real one. We have some more questions for you." "I just buried my mother." The detectives share a look. Garrity pulls out a card, hands it to Joker. "We can do it tomorrow, but you need to come down to the precinct first thing in the morning." He looks down and reads the card. "Right. Thanks for coming." "Of course." Joker looks back up. That was a joke. We hear applause, followed by the familiar opening riff to Elton John's Benny and the Jets. Joker is leaning over the bathroom sink, water running. He's wearing rust-colored pants and a white beater t-shirt. A Joker clown mask hangs on the dirty mirror by its elastic band. Benny and the Jets blaring from a transistor radio turned all the way up. Joker lifts his head up. He has dyed his hair green like his old Mr. Jingles clown wig, but he is missing spots. Some of his hair is still its original color, sticking out all helter-skelter. Now he is smearing white grease paint all over his face. He's dancing along to the music, gyrating and thrusting his hips to the beat, as he glances at the mask hanging from the mirror, trying to copy how it looks. A copy of himself. He barely hears someone banging on the front door over the loud music. Doesn't answer. Joker just keeps putting on his makeup, dancing provocatively to the music. More banging on the front door. Joker casually opens the medicine cabinet. He finds some rusty scissors and turns the radio off. Joker unlocks the front door, keeping the security chain latched, and cracks it open. He sees Randall. He looks down and sees Gary next to him. He undoes the chain and opens the door for them. Randall and Gary get a look at Joker's face, his dyed green hair still wet, streaking white grease paint smeared on part of his face. "Hey, Arthur, how's it going? You get a new gig?" Joker shakes his head no, steps aside when they come in, palming the scissors in his hand. "You must be going down to that rally at City Hall, right? I hear it's going to be nuts." "Oh, is that today?" Randall looks at him and laughs. "So what's with the clown face then?" Joker shuts the door behind them and locks the chain lock. "My mom died." "Yeah, we heard. That's why we're here. Figured you might want to go out and get a drink or something?" Joker doesn't answer. "We don't want to bother you. Randall just thought we should come and pay our respects." "Yeah, we're family. We gotta stick together." Joker stares at Randall. "It's not a good time. I'm in the middle of something here." "Of course, no problem. Another time." Gary turns to go and Randall pauses for a moment. He has something else to say before he leaves. "Yeah, another time. Oh, hey, another thing." He takes a step closer to Joker. "The cops have been poking around the shop. They're talking to all the clowns about those subway murders, and, hey, they didn't talk to me." "That's because the suspect was a regular-sized person, Gary. If it was a fucking midget, you'd be in jail right now." He turns back to Joker. "Anyway, Hoyt said they were looking for me, and I just want to see what you said. You know, make sure our stories line up, being that you're my boy, and..." Joker stabs the scissors as deep as he can into Randall's neck. Blood spurts. Randall screams. Gary stumbles back in shock. "What the fuck? What the fuck?" Joker pulls them out and jabs them into Randall's eyes before he can react. The sound is sickening. Gary's screaming in the background. Randall blindly fights back, screaming in pain, flailing his arms, his own blood blinding him. Joker grabs Randall by the head, all of his pent-up rage and frustration pouring out of him, and slams his head against the wall, again and again and again. Joker lets go of Randall's head, and Randall drops to the ground. Joker leans back against the wall, out of breath, kind of slides down the wall to the floor, and sees Gary huddled in the corner, trembling with fear. Joker catches his breath. "I'm gonna be on TV tonight. Can you believe it?" Gary doesn't answer and doesn't move. "It's okay, Gary. You can go." Gary backs away toward the door. Joker sits there for a moment, breathing heavy. He wipes Randall's blood off his face. "Hey, Art." Joker turns and sees Gary at the front door. He points up high at the chain lock that he can't reach. Joker just shakes his head to himself and gets up to unlock the door. He walks past Gary, who's still trembling, almost too afraid to look up at him. Joker leans over him and undoes the chain, opens the door. Gary bolts, running down the hallway as fast as he can. Over the following, we don't see Joker's face. We don't reveal his finished look just yet. Joker picks up his notebook, fanning through the pages, pausing at the black and white ripped photo of Bruce Wayne for a moment. He continues, stopping at the same entry from the opening scene. "I just hope my death makes more sense than my life." He takes Randall's wallet out of his blood-soaked pants, pocketing all the cash. The butt of the gun sticking out of Randall's waistband. Joker's hand reaches for it. Joker's POV finishing writing a note. On Murray Franklin tonight. Please watch. We close on stuffing the note, all of Randall's money, into an envelope, turning the envelope over and writing Sophie on the front. We go close on the orange cat in the window. Maybe if we're looking close enough, we'll notice something strange. The cat has no reflection. Joker's shoulder opening the window, shooing the cat out onto the fire escape, into the dying day. Go on, you're free. The cat looks back at Joker for a long moment and scampers off into the world, leaving him behind for good. As he closes the window, we almost catch Joker's reflection in the glass. Following behind Joker, walking down the hallway as if in slow motion, headed for Sophie's apartment, his dyed green hair now slicked back. He's wearing an ill-fitted rust-colored suit he wore to his mother's funeral. Still from behind, he lays the envelope in front of Sophie's door, then pulls something else out of his pocket. His body obscuring what it is, he puts it down by her door and leaves. As he walks down the hallway, we see what else Joker left behind. His wand of flowers at Sophie's door. We see Joker from behind stepping onto the elevator, turning to face us as the door starts to close, finally revealing his look. Green hair slicked back, like one of the Wall Street assholes he killed. White grease paint smeared over his face, red nose painted on, dark blue peaks over and under his eyes, his mother's red lipstick crudely outlining his broken smile. Under the harsh flickering fluorescent lights, he looks like an insane version of his own mask. The door closes on his new face. Ding! Joker steps out of his building into the setting sun, just as Garrity and Burke are getting out of their unmarked Ford LTD Crown Vic. Hey Arthur, where you going? Yeah, I thought you were coming down to the station this morning. Joker takes off running. Garrity gives chase on foot as Burke hurries back into the car. Joker darts out from his block into the avenue, sprinting across the busy two-lane street without looking. He runs right in front of an oncoming yellow cab on the far side of the street. Bam! The cab hits him, and Joker goes crashing onto the windshield, bouncing up and over the car, landing hard on the pavement. The car directly behind the cab skids to a stop, just before running over Joker's face, swerving into the other lane and crashing into an oncoming truck. Cars on both sides of the street, skidding, trying to stop, crashing. It's chaos. Joker pops back up from getting hit. He's in pain, but he's not dead. Garrity has drawn his service revolver as he makes his way through the pileup. Now Burke, blocked because of the crash, has jumped out of his car. Joker takes off running, limping down the street toward an entrance for the elevated train. Joker hustling up the stairs, dripping sweat, his white grease paint running down his face. He gets to the top of the stairs, looks back, and catches a glimpse of Garrity and Burke at the bottom. Joker makes his way down the crowded platform. The passengers start to file on a waiting Lexington Ave Pelham Express train heading downtown. The train is packed with protesters, heading to the rally at City Hall. Many are carrying signs, most of them in Joker masks, a few painted up to look like the Joker mask. Joker fits in with all of them. He looks through the crowd of clowns and sees the two cops getting to the top of the stairs, looking up and down the platform for him, pulling out their badges on chains from around their necks, identifying themselves as cops. Joker is willing the doors to close, but they don't. The two detectives run onto the train just as the doors are finally closing. Joker moves through the loud train, pushing through the rowdy protesters into the next car, all of them packed. As the train goes underground, the lights flicker on and off, the car going black for a few seconds, as the train turns and dips and speeds down the tracks. Joker glances back at Burke and Garrity, pulling out their badges on chains around their neck. Smith and Wesson's service revolvers by their side, shouting at the crowd, identifying themselves as cops. Joker hears some on the train shouting back in anger at the police, keeps moving, past clown-faced protesters, carrying signs, resist, am I a clown? Save a city, kill a yuppie. The two cops push through the car, scanning all the clown faces. So many look like Joker. They just shove protesters out of the way, shouting at them all the while. A few more voices rising up in the protest. Joker feels Burke and Garrity behind him getting closer. The flickering light sees a drunk guy wearing a Joker mask. He pulls it right off his face. The drunk guy gets ready to fight. He throws a punch at Joker, and Joker steps out of the way. The guy pummels someone else. A fight breaks out, spilling down the car. Joker slips the clown mask over his clown face and just stands there in the middle of the chaos, at home with it all around him. Garrity and Burke spot Joker's rust-colored suit in the middle of the unruly mob. Burke pulls his gun. "Everybody down! Gotham PD!" The crowd doesn't drop to the ground. They just keep fighting with each other. Burke sees Joker just standing there, keeps yelling for the crowd to get down, but they don't listen to him. He starts shoving protesters down, out of the way. Then the mob turns on him and Garrity, starts closing in around them. Garrity and Burke are pointing their guns at the crowd, yelling, panicked for them to back off. One idiot reaches for Garrity's gun, and bang! Burke fires into the crowd as the train pulls into the station. A protester falls dead. The other clowns on the train go crazy, starting to riot. We glimpse Joker walking away calmly out of the chaos, takes off the mask and drops it at his side as he steps off the train, disappearing onto the crowded platform. An excited line of ticket holders waiting to get into Live with Murray Franklin. The poster marquee box near the door reads, "Tonight's guest, Lance Reynolds, Dr. Sally Friedman, and special guest." They swing open the doors and start to let the audience inside. Random fans and autograph hounds hanging out by the backstage door, waiting for the night's guests to arrive. The studio audience fills in the studio, being seated in the wide bleachers along one wall. 3 television monitors hang from the ceiling, facing the audience. 3 studio cameras on the floor. Black cables strewn everywhere. The set for Live with Murray Franklin is dark, but we can still make out his desk, guest chairs, Don Ellis and his jazz orchestra's band stand, a big blue curtain. The host of the show, Murray Franklin, in his 60s, usually quick, with a bemused grin, but right now in a sour mood, walks fast down the hall towards the drab dressing rooms with his old-school producer, Gene Uffland, 60s, who's holding the show's rundown rolled up in his hand. "You gotta see this nut for yourself, Murray. I don't think we can put him on, with the rioting out there." Murray, annoyed. "Jesus, Gene, I don't have time for this. Cindy's been breaking my balls all day." "She's, still mad at you about that thing? 3 marriages, you'd think I'd have fucking learned something." "What have I gotta see? I already know he's a nut. That's why we're putting him on. It's a goof." A young blonde intern walks by in the opposite direction. She nervously smiles to them and keeps walking. Both men turn and check out her ass. Murray winks at Gene. Gene shakes his head and smiles. "I'm telling you, you gotta see him, Murray. I think it's too risky. The show is too big. It's worth too much to blow it all on this freak." Joker is sitting on a small couch in a cramped dressing room, watching the local news on a TV that's mounted up on the wall, live shots from a subway station where Burke shot the protester, footage of the City Hall rally, clashes with police. He has cleaned himself up the best he could. White grease paint smeared more evenly over his face, green dyed hair slicked in place, red lips redone. Murray and his producer Gene open the dressing room door without knocking. Joker gets up off the couch. He goes to shake Murray's hand. Murray pauses when he sees Joker's face. He shakes Murray's hand, effusive. "Murray, I can't believe this is real, that I'm really here." "It's Mr. Franklin, kid, show some respect." "Oh, shut up, Gene." "It's fine. I prefer it, in fact. Thanks for coming on the show." "Are you kidding? Thanks for the opportunity. I've been watching you forever. My mother never missed a show." Murray nods, not listening. He's heard this before. "So, what's with the face? Are you part of the protests?" "No, I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in anything. I just thought it would be good for my act." "Your act? Didn't you hear that a kid got killed on the subway? 2 cops who almost beat to death? You didn't hear about the dozens of protesters and police injured in the riots?" Joker looks like he's about to bust out laughing. All that news is playing out on the TV above their heads. He takes a deep breath, swallows the laugh. "No, I haven't heard." Gene and Murray share a look. "The audience is going to go crazy if you put him on. It was okay maybe for a bit, not a whole segment." Murray thinks about it for a beat. "I like it. It's timely. It's edgy. It's dangerous. The best comedy is all those things put together. We're going to go with it." Gene rubs his temples. He does not like this, but Murray is the boss. "Thank you, Murray." Murray flashes his bemused smile, condescending. "Couple rules, though. No cussing. No off-color material. We do a clean show, okay? You'll be on after Dr. Sally. Someone will come get you. Good?" Joker nods. Good. He smiles back at Murray. Murray and Gene go on, exchanging smirks with each other as they walk out, making light of Joker, who we see behind them standing there. "Hey, Murray, one small thing. When you bring me out, can you introduce me as the Joker?" Murray and Gene look back at him. "What, you don't even want to use your real name?" "Honestly, I don't even know what my real name is." Joker smiles. The guys can't tell if he's kidding or not. "Besides, that's what you called me on the show, Murray. A joker, remember?" To Gene, trying not to crack up. "Did I?" "I have no idea." He turns back to Joker. "Well, if you say so, kid. Joker it is." Murray starts to laugh at Joker as he closes the dressing room door, shutting it right in front of his face. Joker's backstage at the edge of the blue curtain, trying to watch the show through a slim gap. Behind him there's a monitor on a cart playing the live feed. He moves the curtain aside to get a better look. Glimpses Murray laughing. Finishes up talking to a noted sex therapist, Dr. Sally Friedman. To Dr. Sally, "You gotta see our next guest for yourself. Will you stick around? Maybe you can help. I'm pretty sure he could use a doctor." The audience laughs. "Oh, does he have sexual problems?" "He looks like he's got a lot of problems." Another big laugh. Murray turns and looks into the camera. "It's been a crazy few days here in Gotham, and I think maybe things are going to get crazy around here too. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back." Applause signs light up. Everyone claps. Joker keeps watching Murray through the slim gap at the edge of the curtain. We hear the floor director shout, "And we're out, back in 3. Joker adjusts the waist of his pants under his jacket. He takes a deep breath. Perched one story above the studio, a director's booth. There's a long console where the director sits in front of the gooseneck microphone. looking over a double bank of monitors. Sitting next to him are the associate producer, who times the show, and the technical director, who operates the board. The monitor showing the live feed is playing a commercial. Back in 30. Okay, cue the clip. We'll come to it straight out of the break. 5, 4, 3, roll clip. Put up the show graphic. On the show monitor, video of Joker's original stand-up performance comes up with the show's graphic in the lower right of the screen. On the set, Murray watches the clip on the monitor above his desk and can't help but laugh. He sees the floor director counting him down silently with her fingers. 3, 2, then points to camera 1. Looking into camera. Okay, you may have seen that clip of our next guest when we first played it 2 weeks ago. Now before he comes out, I just want to say that we're all heartbroken here, sensitive to what's going on in the city tonight. But this is how he wanted to come on the show. So let me introduce the Joker. Behind the blue curtain, Joker gathers himself, ready for his moment. He doesn't hear his introduction or see a stagehand pull open the curtain for him to go out. On set, the curtain's open. Don Ellis and his jazz orchestra are playing Joker on, but he doesn't come out. Murray looks over to the empty space in the curtain. The audience laughs. Behind the curtain, Joker sees the stagehand motioning for him to go out on stage. Joker starts out, pausing, when he takes a step into the bright lights. The stagehand doesn't see him stop and drops the curtain back on Joker before the audience can really see his face, tangling Joker up in the curtain. The audience keeps laughing, thinking it's part of the act. The band keeps playing him on. Joker untangles himself from the curtain, and the audience gets a good look at him. Some continue laughing, a few boo. Most don't know what to make of him. Joker walks across the stage, forgetting to wave like he practiced. He trips over the riser surrounding the set. When he goes to shake Murray's hand, he almost falls on him. Murray tries not to crack up. The audience laughs, thinking it's part of Joker's act. Joker reaches out to hug Dr. Sally. She goes in for a handshake. Another awkward moment, and more laughs. Joker finally sits down next to Murray, crosses and uncrosses his legs. He can't get comfortable. So, thanks for coming on the show, but I gotta tell you, with what's happening at City Hall tonight, I'm sure many of our viewers here in the studio and at home might find this look of yours in poor taste. Joker is not listening to Murray. He's mesmerized by all the lights, all the eyes on him. He doesn't answer Murray. Murray tries again. Can you tell us why you're dressed like this? Joker starts to laugh, not embarrassed of it anymore. He goes with it, giving into it, enjoying the laughter. Murray can't help but smile at Joker's laughing. Okay, but I'm not sure how any of this is funny. A lot of those protesters are going with this look. The city seems to be full of clowns these days. Joker just nods, still laughing. Yeah, isn't it great? Joker just keeps cracking up. The audience still isn't sure what to make of him. There's some awkward laughter. Nobody is laughing in the director's booth. This guy's got nothing. He hits the producer's talk button into the mic. Gene, what the hell? Do you want to kill this? Murray glances over at his producer, Gene Ufland, who's sitting off camera on a director's chair by a monitor. Gene shrugs at him. Murray smiles, trying to save the interview. So, when we talked earlier, you mentioned that you aren't political, that this look isn't a political statement. Between laughs. That's right, I'm not political, Murray. I'm just trying to make people laugh. Murray waits for a beat and smiles. How's that going for you? Have you been working on any new material? Do you want to tell us a joke? The audience claps, egging Joker on to tell a joke. Joker looks over at Murray, his laughing fit finally subsiding. He reaches into his jacket pocket, pulls out his worn notebook, catching his breath. He looks through it to find a new joke. "You brought a joke book?" The audience laughs. Joker smiles, opens the page to Bruce Wayne's photo. He pauses for a moment and then turns the page. Finds a joke. "Okay, here's one. Knock knock." "Oh God, a knock knock joke? And you need to read it?" He nods and reads it again. "I want to get it right. Knock knock." Murray makes a face like, "Okay, I'll go along with this." "Who's there?" Joker looks up from his notebook. "It's the police, ma'am. Your son has been hit by a drunk driver. He's dead." The associate producer tries not to laugh, but she can't help it. The director looks over at her like she's lost her mind. The director shakes his head. "Okay, ready, camera 2. Take 2. Ready, 3. And 3. Some of the audience cracks up. Joker smiles at the response. Murray Franklin shakes his head, smirking at the joke despite himself. "So, Arthur, you told me backstage that you're..." Joker leans over, interrupting Murray, and whispers something to him. Murray nods as Joker whispers. Bemused smile. Patronizing. "Right, sorry, I mean Joker. You told me backstage that your mother is a big fan of the show, that she never misses it." Joker puts the notebook back in his pocket. He crosses his legs and starts to get a bit more comfortable. "That's right, Murray, but she's dead now." The audience laughs, goes along with the joke. "Hold on, your mother's dead?" "Yeah, she is." Murray is not sure if this is part of his act. "Okay, what about your father? Does he watch the show?" Laughter from the crowd. "I don't know who my father is. Turns out I was adopted and sexually assaulted by my mother's boyfriend." A few in the audience groan. A couple even laugh, still thinking it's just the Joker's edgy, off-kilter sense of humor. Don Ellis plays a wah 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 on his trumpet from the bandstand. "Oh, no, you cannot joke about that." Murray shakes his head. "Yeah, that's not funny. That's not the kind of humor we do on this show." Murray glances over at Gene in the wings, gives him a wrap it up sign. Joker just keeps on going. He's on a roll. "Sorry, it's been a rough few months, Murray. I mean, after my mother died, the police came to question me at her funeral. Who does that?" "Oh, really? Were you a suspect?" The audience laughs. "Very funny, Murray. No, they came because I killed those 3 Wall Street guys." The studio audience can't tell if he's joking or not. Murray can't either. "Okay, I'm waiting for the punchline." "There is no punchline. It's not a joke." The director stares at the monitor. Did he just confess to killing the Wall Street 3? "Yeah, I think he did." The associate producer turns to the director and nods. "He definitely did. Jesus Christ." He hits the camera talk button. Camera 3, getting close. Camera 3 zooming in close on Joker's face. Gene Ufland is now standing up from his chair. He motions for Murray to kill the interview. Murray shakes his head to himself. This is a big get. It could be great television. He turns back to Joker with gravitas. "You're serious, aren't you? You're telling us you killed those 3 boys on the subway? Why should we believe you?" "I got nothing left to lose, Murray. Nothing can hurt me anymore. This is my fate. It has always been my fate. My life is nothing but a comedy." Sophie is sitting on her couch watching this interview play out on TV. Gigi is asleep next to her. The open envelope and money are lying on the coffee table. No sign of flowers anywhere. "Let me get this straight. You think killing those young men is funny?" "Yeah, but comedy is subjective. Isn't that what they say? Besides, the way I see it, what happened was a good thing. All of you, Gotham, the system that knows so much. You decide what's right and what's wrong. what's real or what's made up, the same way you decide what's funny or not. Sophie edges forward on the couch, can almost see a hint of agreement on her face. Back on the set, we can tell by the way Murray is now interviewing Joker, talking to him slower and more thoughtfully, that he thinks this is going to get him an Emmy, maybe even a Peabody. Okay, I think I understand. You did it to start a movement, to become a symbol. Come on, Murray. Do I look like the kind of a clown who would start a movement? I killed those guys because they were awful. Everybody is awful these days. It's enough to make anyone crazy. So that's it, you're crazy. That's your defense for killing 3 young men? Because they were mean to you? No, they couldn't carry a tune to save their lives. Some audible groans from the audience. Why is everyone so upset about these guys? Because Thomas Wayne went and cried about them on TV? You have a problem with Thomas Wayne, too? Yeah, I do. Everything comes so easy for him. What's wrong with that? Have you seen what it's like out there, Murray? Do you ever actually leave the studio? Everyone just yells and screams at each other. Nobody's civil anymore. Nobody thinks what it's like to be the other guy. You think men like Thomas Wayne, men at ease, ever think what it's like to be a guy like me? To be anybody but themselves? He shakes his head, voice rising. They don't. They think we'll all just sit there and take it like good little boys. That we won't werewolf and go wild. Well, this is for all of you out there. Joker howls at the moon. It's fucking weird. Officers and detectives jumping into action, rushing past a small portable black and white television, sitting on one of the desks, hearing one of them shout, "That asshole just confessed to killing those Wall Street guys on fucking live TV." Angle on the little TV, tight 2-shot of Joker looking at Murray. Murray shakes his head. So much self-pity, Arthur. You sound like you're making excuses for killing 3 young men. You know, not everybody is awful. Joker looks straight at Murray. You're awful, Murray. There is no more laughter. The audience is watching this with much attention. Me? How am I awful? Playing my video, inviting me on the show. You just wanted to make fun of me. Well, it's easy to laugh at Frankenstein on a crowded beach, isn't it? You're just like the rest of them, Murray. Everything comes too easy for you. Murray is defensive. You don't know the first thing about me, pal. Look what happened because of what you did, Arthur. What it led to. There are riots out there. 2 policemen are in critical condition. Someone was killed today. Joker nods in agreement. Yeah, it's because of what he did. How about another joke, Murray? What do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a system that abandons him and treats him like trash? Murray pauses for a moment, not really listening to Joker, suddenly realizing the seriousness of the situation. He starts to turn to camera. Joker pulls Randall's gun. I'll tell you what you get. You get what you fucking deserve. And as Murray Franklin turns back to him, Joker shoots the side of Murray's head off. Blood spatters all over the back of the set, some spraying in Joker's face. The audience screams. Dr. Sally dives for the floor. Sophie screams and jumps to her feet, horrified, waking up Gigi, who starts to cry when she sees what's on television. On the TV, Joker gets up and walks right up to the camera, blood sprayed over his white painted face. We hear the studio audience still screaming, bedlam all around him. Joker on TV looks straight into camera and screams Murray's signature sign-off. Good night, and always remember, that's life. And as Joker waves goodbye to the home audience, a black and white Indian head test pattern cuts off the show. Please stand by. Herb Alpert's Spanish Flea plays underneath. Back live in the studio, Joker is tackled by 2 security guards and some stagehands. We still hear screams of terror from the audience around. His face hits the shiny floor as if in slow motion. We hear the soft and familiar opening to Ferrante and Teicher's piano version of Send in the Clowns. Joker is gazing out of the window of a Gotham squad car. All the violence and madness in the city. We only see it in the reflection of the glass, the fires burning, the mob crowding the streets. Joker handcuffed in the back of the squad car, moving slowly through the rioting. Sirens wailing, red lights flashing, blood still spattered on his face. We stay on Joker's face as he hears the police radio crackling. Reports of rioters in Joker's masks, setting fires, breaking windows, looting stores. The images reflected in the window start to speed up as the officer driving weaves faster through the chaos. "Look what you caused, you freak! The whole city is on fire because of you!" Joker bangs his head hard against the steel mesh cage. Bam! "Keep it up, asshole. Watch what happens when we get to the station." He bangs his head again. Some blood is forming on his forehead. Glancing at Joker in the back seat, shouting, "Calm the fuck down, you're not going anywhere." When the cop driving turns back, we catch a glimpse of someone or something running out onto the street in front of the speeding squad car. We go close on Joker as the squad car swerves out of the way, Joker banging up against the door, and crash. The squad car hits a parked car and flips over, sliding across the street on its roof. Sparks fly until finally the upside-down squad car comes to a stop. Smoke rising from the wreck. Ferrante and Teicher's piano-only version of Send in the Clowns is still playing. Both police officers in the front seat are either unconscious or dead. We see movement in the back seat. Hard to tell what's going on inside. Suddenly the back door kicks open, and Joker falls out of the car, landing hard on the street. One hand free, handcuffs dangling from his other hand. We hear sirens in the distance. Joker leans back against the car, his face bloody, his body broken from the crash. Sitting there amongst the wreckage, we can still see and hear the chaos, the fires burning all around him. He reaches for a jagged shard of broken glass, pauses for a moment, catching his breath, hand holding the jagged glass, resting on his lap, wailing sirens getting closer. It looks like he's about to cut his wrists. A well-heeled crowd letting out of a movie theater. The violence has even reached up here, the nice part of town. Sirens wailing, gangs of punks wearing Joker masks running past, breaking car windows, fires burning. Catch a glimpse of the lit-up marquee listing the films playing Blowout and Zorro the Gay Blade. We hear Send in the Clowns still playing. From behind, we see a silhouetted couple and their kid hurry down the dark side of the street, ducking into an alley to avoid the chaos. We catch a glimpse of a punk in a Joker mask, following after them pulling a gun. Joker lifts the jagged shard of glass, handcuffs swinging, passed by his wrist, and starts cutting into the slit on one corner of his mouth, making the smile longer and wider. Blood pouring down his face onto his hand. Joker tearing into the other side of his mouth. Jagged glass ripping into his flesh, spurting blood. Handcuff swinging sirens on top of him. Red lights flashing over his face. We angle on Joker lit up red, done cutting his smile, letting go of the jagged bloody shard. He leans his head back against the squad car and closes his eyes, covered in his own blood. He is finished. Now he is the Joker. From behind, families in the shadows see the guy's eyes go wide behind a mask, pointing his gun. The music is swelling. "You still think we're all fucking clowns?" And the punk shoots the man, reaches out and grabs something off the woman's neck before he shoots her as well. Both fall to the ground dead, revealing their young son standing behind them. We go close on 8-year-old Bruce Wayne, closing his eyes as blood sprays across his face. He opens his eyes and looks up scared at the man in the Joker mask who killed his parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne. Send in the Clowns ends. There's a long beat and we cut to black. We hear laughter, the sound of a man completely cracking up. Joker, tears in his eyes from laughing so hard. He's enjoying it, not trying to get it under control. His head has been shaved. He looks medicated or maybe even lobotomized. He's wearing white institutional clothes. His new smile is all stitched up, cut deep up the corners of his mouth, forming a longer, happier smile. He's sitting across from an overworked hospital doctor, 50s, African-American woman. Somehow, it's the exact same room Joker imagined his mother was in 30 years ago. The room and the doctor look vaguely similar to the social worker and her office in the opening scene. The doctor just sits there, waiting for him to stop laughing. A weathered notebook is on the table in front of him. Finally, Joker stops himself. "What's so funny?" He takes a deep breath. His eyes are glazed over. His voice is scratchy, like he doesn't use it much. "Just thinking of this joke." "Do you want to tell it to me?" "No." "Because you don't think I'll get it?" "Because it's personal. It's between me and him." "Okay, is the medication working? How is your sleeping?" Joker nods yes. "How are you feeling?" "Good. Everything is good now." "Have you been writing in your journal?" Joker slowly nods. "Great. I want to make sure you're keeping up with it." "Yeah." "Have you written about your episodes? About what happened?" "How I remember it." "Can I see?" Joker slides his journal across to her. She picks it up and flips through the pages. Blank page after blank page. There's nothing inside of it. The doctor looks up at him confused. A smile creeps across his face and we hear the groovy organ opening to Frank Sinatra's anthem, "That's Life." From behind, we see Joker shuffling down the hallway, past all the other mental patients and orderlies by his side. Sinatra starts singing. Joker does a sidestep to the music, like he can hear it too, into a skip, and another slide, step into a spin, dancing down the hallway into the sunset. That's Life keeps playing over the credits. The end. Don't forget to comment below with the next movie reading that you would like to hear. And also, comment what your favorite quote from this script was. It was slightly different, if you noticed, from the theatrical release. And I find that super interesting, the changes that they made and how they affect the themes and the story of the movie. As always, like and subscribe if you enjoy what I did here today, and I will see you in the next movie reading.